geared up to exchange some new ideas and also, move ahead with whatever we've already discussed. So, what lies ahead, taking on these learnings forward and building on the work that has already been done. Once again, a very hearty welcome to everyone present here. We request all of you to kindly be seated. We should be beginning shortly. Requesting all our distinguished speakers, experts, delegates to kindly please take their seats. We are about to begin shortly. If we have any of our speakers, panelists for the next session also, kindly please identify yourself and let us know so that we can check if your presentations, rather the updated presentations have been loaded in the system. So if we have any speakers for the session, the next session which is coming up, kindly please identify yourselves and let us know about your arrival. Thank you. Kindly please take your seats, and also a very humble request if we could put our phones on the silent mode to maintain the decorum and sanctity of the sessions that we are just about to begin. Requesting all to kindly please be seated. Thank you.
India is rewriting its energy story through innovation, guided by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat and Vikasit Bharat 2047.
देश के नौजवानों ने जॉब सीकर से ज्यादा जॉब क्रिएटर बनने का रास्ता चुना है.
India is now the world's third largest startup ecosystem, growing from just 502 startups in 2016 to 1.94 lakh today, with 45% led by women and creating over 17 lakh jobs. MoPNG Minister Hardeep Singh Puri highlighted that India's startup boom is driving entrepreneurs to build their own multinational companies rather than move out.
The Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas is actively fostering an innovation ecosystem by supporting startups through the central public sector enterprises.
Since 2017, PSUs under MoPNG have launched unique startup initiatives, investing over rupees 600 crores in 300 plus startups, with over 86 patents, turning refineries into incubators and engineers into innovators. We have witnessed oil and gas startups rapidly scaling their employee workforce by 15x, with individual valuations exceeding rupees 1,000 crores. These startups are revolutionizing the oil and gas sector, deploying robots and drones in difficult environments, leveraging predictive analytics to boost reliability, reducing dependence on foreign technologies, optimizing logistics, and driving breakthroughs across the energy value chain. Their innovations are now earning national and global recognition. India's downstream currently faces multiple challenges. Despite these challenges, oil PSUs continue to drive India's growth. With rupees 4.5 lakh crores in upcoming investments, a massive opportunity awaits startups to deliver cost-effective, indigenous solutions for both current operations and future expansions. Let's connect at ETM 2025, where innovation meets opportunity.
The global Indian diaspora represents one of India's greatest strengths, a community of innovators, technologists, and leaders shaping the global energy landscape. Across continents, they drive innovation, sustainability, and industrial transformation, reflecting Indian spirit of resilience and excellence. From mega refining complexes to clean energy transitions, Indian professionals have become global torchbearers. Their expertise across refining, petrochemicals, renewables, digital transformation makes them essential collaborators in India's journey toward Atmanirbhar and Viksit.
We are about to begin. May I request everyone to please take their seats. A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As we step into the final day of ETM, I extend a warm welcome to all our distinguished speakers, our experts and delegates who are present here this morning. Over the last 2 days, we have explored transformative ideas shaping the future of energy, and today's technical sessions also promise to carry that momentum forward with even deeper insights and innovations. We're truly honored to have amongst us the distinguished chairpersons for today's sessions, accomplished R&D leaders from the most pioneering organizations in the energy sector. Their vision and technical expertise continue to drive innovation, bridging research and real-world application in remarkable ways. So, ladies and gentlemen, without taking much time, I would like to announce the topic of the session, which is Innovation in Catalysts and Scaling Lab to Field, and invite the chairpersons to kindly take their places on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please join hands as we welcome on stage Dr. Alex Pulikkottil, who's ED R&D for IOCL. एक बार जोरदार तालियां इनके लिए. He leads research vertical of refining technology. Catalyst, Petrochemicals and Polymers, Analytical Sciences at R&D of IOCL. He holds a PhD from IIT Madras in domain of heterogeneous catalysis with over 27 years of experience in refining catalysis and processes, catalytic materials and adsorbents. He has to his credit 25 research publications, over 40 patents and several awards like the FIPI, CHT, FICCI, etc. We welcome you, Dr. Alex. Bahut swagat. As we move further, may I take the opportunity of inviting on stage our chairperson, Mr. N. Chandrasekhar, ED&D for BPCL, to please join on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, zordar taliyan inke liye. His major achievements, as we can see, as far as Kochi refinery is concerned, commissioned PDDP facilities. Bharat Oman Refinery Limited, which is presently Bina Refinery, stabilized the refinery as head of the process. Mumbai Refinery, he commissioned DHDT project, proved to be a game changer. Two major turnarounds were successfully handled and reduction of energy index and manpower reorganization were also successfully handled. And too many awards to his kitty, as we can see. Ladies and gentlemen, बहुत स्वागत है. Once again, please join hands for Mr. Chandrasekhar N. I also take the opportunity of now inviting the speakers for technical papers to kindly please join us on stage. Inviting from WR Grace, Sid Mohanty. Zordar taliyan Sid ke liye. Please join hands as we welcome Mr. Mohanty on stage. From KEDGEN, may I please invite Ms. Megha Agarwal. Zordar taliyan Megha ji ke liye. We welcome you on stage. Can we have a louder applause, ladies and gentlemen, because we really need some energy. Early morning, we've just gathered here. Mr. Gurmeet Singh and Rashmi Rani from IOCL R&D, welcoming you on the stage, Mr. Gurmeet Singh and Ms. Rashmi. बहुत स्वागत. From HPCL, we welcome Mr. Pramod Kumar. Zordar taliyan Pramod ji ke liye. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for all our speakers. May I please invite on stage Mr. Siddharth Sagar to take his place on the stage. Zordar taliyan Siddharth ji ke liye. Inviting Mr. Arvind Narayanam to please join on the stage. Arvind ji ke liye bhi zordar taliyan. Sabhi speakers ka swagat hai. We have the distinguished speakers who have joined us here, and soon we are going to begin the proceedings of the session. So ladies and gentlemen, we request you to be kindly very attentive because I'm sure there will be some important takeaways from these sessions that we are beginning. So if you have any questions at the end of the session, they may be addressed to the respective speaker. We request you to kindly rise and put forward your question, and then maybe we can, shoot it to the respective speaker that it is being addressed to. With these words, may I please request the chairpersons to kindly please begin with the proceedings of the session. Over to you, sirs.
Good morning to all of you, and welcome to the 13th session on Innovation in Catalyst Scaling Lab to Field. It's a very important topic per se for the refineries because, catalyst is a silent workhorse of a refinery. And in fact, these innovations and developments in catalyst is what is going to improve your process efficiency, reduce energy consumption, maybe enable for us to have a sustainable process and a greener process. So catalysts do play a very important role. And in fact, if you see the major milestones that have taken place in the science of catalysis has evolved actually in the petroleum refining sector. Like in the first day, I think somebody mentioned about the FCC catalyst development that took place during the World War II. And similar is the case like in the hydrotreating catalyst. The catalyst still remains the same. It's either a nickel moly or a cobalt moly system. But the extent of activities that have improved is multifolds. So that means that this innovation in catalyst and developments in catalyst is key to the refining sector, and especially so during these times. So we have today about 6 topics of presentation. It covers a spectrum of topics, right from the petrochemical catalyst, the catalyst for the steam crackers, and to the resid feeds. So without wasting much time, I'll start the session, and I request the speaker to keep their presentation to around 12 to 13 minutes so that we'll have some questions and interaction with the audience. So over to Chandrasekhar sir for taking over the proceedings.
Good morning, and thank you, Dr. Alex. It's a pleasure to be on the same stage as you, and also a great honor to be amongst these illustrious persons who are in the stage along with me. This subject of Catalyst, as Dr. Alex said, is very important, and probably, in my opinion, after going through all the topics, this is one of the most important topics that is to be addressed at this ETM. And we are very glad that this is ultimately happening. And without further ado, we'll go straight to the session. It is my pleasure to welcome the first presenter, Sid Mohanty, W.R. Grace. This topic is of national importance, I should say. The ablated bed resid hydrocracking process is a developing field in India. And we are all excited to hear you, Sid. Yes. Over to you, please.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 3 of 28th ETM. I do want to take this opportunity to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to speak today in front of you. My name is Siddharth Mohanty. I'm the Global Technology Lead for Ablating Bed Resid Hydrocracking segment for ART Catalyst, and I'm based out of our Grace headquarters in Maryland in US. Before I get into my topic, I do want to give a huge shout out to the organizers. One of the things that always amazes me, this is my second edition in ETM, second time I'm attending ETM. One of the things that never ceases to amaze me is the amount of energy, the amount of engagement that I see in this conference. I do go to other conferences around the world, but this is one place where the involvement, the engagement, the energy, it's definitely another level, and it's very refreshing to see that. Just from personal example, I was in our stall outside, and a couple of engineering grads, they came, they were asking about what we do, how we provided value to the customers, where we fit in the whole refining ecosystem. It was really refreshing to see. The second aspect is the wide array of topics that's discussed, from new topics like digitalization, sustainability, energy transition, to more conventional topics of refining, new process technologies, a huge range of subjects that's being discussed in this one platform. One such topic that I'll be talking about is new to India, but it's been prevalent in world for a few years now. And my topic today would be continued growth of ablating bed resid hydrocracking process. I do realize it's a new technology in India, and the familiarity level may not be that high. In short, this is bottom of barrel upgrading, very similar to what a coker does. It takes a vacuum bottom residue, cracks it into high-value distillate products. Where the differences with cokers come in is availability of hydrogen, availability of catalyst, and the catalyst in the reactor bed itself is ablated. It's similar in some ways to, not unlike FCC, it does not travel with the medium itself. So I'm going to start with the refining landscape in India and why this technology is gaining such momentum. Looking broadly at the Indian refining sector and the Indian refining capacity, between now and 2030, we're expecting a growth of close to 20%. That means addition of about 50 million tons per annum of refining capacity. Obviously, GDP growth, rising middle class, demand for petrochemical, all of those factors driving the need for expansion in the refining sector. The second aspect is in how the yields are changing from now and 2030. Couple of big differences that per IEA that we're going to see is the increase in naphtha at the expense of gasoline, and second is the increase in requirement for light and middle distillates at the expense of residue products. This transition or this conversion of residue to light and middle distillate is where the bottom of barrel conversion comes in. Residue hydrocracking is one of maybe 2 or 3 different prominent bottom of barrel conversion technologies. Now, there are obviously added constraints here in terms of feed is always a constant change. There is one thing that's constant about a refinery feed stream, that it's changing. The other thing in bottom of barrel conversion, which differentiates from other stream treatment, is the revenue streams are not just the delta between the product and the feed. The selection of crude itself is a revenue generator, in fact a big revenue generator for operators. With these trends in mind, let's explore how ablating bed resid hydrocracking is positioned to meet these needs. Now, if we look at the advantages, some of the advantages of ablating bed resid hydrocrackers, foremost one is the high resid conversion. We have units that run from 60% resid conversion to up to as high as 85, and one unit even touching 90% conversion level. And second is, because of the nature of the process, the selectivity is geared towards middle distillate, mostly a diesel process. Depending on the conversion level, diesel yields can vary from somewhere between 30% to as high as 40% on the feed basis. The third is the flexibility in feed. This, to me, is really huge. You can process really high contaminant levels. We have customers which process feed nickel and vanadium levels up to as high as 500, 550 ppms. You can also process, on the other side, light feedstocks as well. We have customers processing Canadian feedstocks. We have customers processing Russian Urals, West Asia, West African, a lot of different sources. So that's the flexibility that this particular unit provides customer. And finally, the constant activity. Because of the nature of the process where the catalyst is ablated, that allows operators to add and withdraw catalyst on the run. So unlike its fixed bed peers, there is no deactivation in activity. Activity, sulfur removal, MCR removal remains constant throughout the run. All these factors mean that the net product value is definitely an advantage for resid hydrocracking units. If we look at the middle plot, historically between 1980s and 2010s, 2000s, Americas and Europe, they've been the places where resid hydrocracking technology has been concentrated. Initially, it was Canada, then US, couple of units came online, Mexico, there were a couple of units, and then during the 1990s, with the fuel oil demand going up, Europe started building a lot of resid hydrocracking units. But from 2020 onwards, we're starting to see a big shift in where the new units are starting to come up, and the magnitude of these new builds. Between 2020 to up until 2030, we're projecting close to 600,000 barrels of capacity addition, and predominantly in Asia, Middle East, Asia Pacific, and India is another prominent geography. If we look at, zoom in and look at the Indian picture a little bit, we have 3 new units starting up within the next 2 years. HPCL Vizag, which is a CLG licensed LC Max unit, that'll be the first of its kind in India, and it's slated to start up very early, maybe next year. Similarly, NRL, another CLG licensed LC fining unit, and then IOCL Panipat also building Accents licensed H-oil unit. with a combined capacity of about 150,000 barrels per day of resid capacity. So now that we understand the growth trajectory, let's just do a deeper dive into how Catalyst is a positive enabler for this technology. One of the main challenges in EB resid hydrocracking and broadly resid is a stability factor. This is something we don't talk outside resid. If we talk about VGO, if we talk about diesel, naphtha, stability is not really an issue. But that is not the case in resid. Stability of asphaltene, when I say stability, I'm basically referring to stability of asphaltene in the oil. Think of it as in terms of asphaltene being the solute and the oil being the solvent. So as we increase conversion, the deeper we crack these resid molecules, the stability of asphaltene or the ability of the asphaltene to be solubilized in the oil or the ability of oil to keep the asphaltene solubilized decreases significantly. There is a certain threshold that comes where the asphaltenes are no longer soluble in the oil fraction, and they start to precipitate out. And precipitation of asphaltene means we start to see fouling in our process equipment, we start to see higher sediment, loss of heat transfer efficiency, and worst case, shutting down of the unit. The other negative impact of high sediment is if operator is making fuel oil, sometimes sediments can be high that fuel oil specs are not met. The optimization ecosystem of this particular technology revolves around this threshold for improving the conversion to sediment ratio. How much can we push our conversion, keeping the sediment constant that maximizes the value proposition of this particular unit? This is where Catalyst is so central to this particular technology. We as catalyst suppliers, we design catalyst to maximize this asphaltene stability. The catalysts are designed such that we increase conversion while keeping the sediment level constant. How we do that? That is by providing a balance between diffusion resistance for big resid molecules. As we know, resid molecules sizes tend to be pretty big. Asphaltenes themselves are formed of multiple aromatic cores. So diffusion resistance is a big impediment while treating resid molecules. So our catalyst, the catalyst needs to have enough macropore volume for diffusion resistance to be not rate limiting. In addition, the catalyst also needs to have sufficient hydrogenation activity so that these asphaltenes can be hydrogenated properly without agglomerating and creating sediments. Taking a more visual approach here, the asphaltenes can be thought of being present as aromatic cores surrounded by aromatic and resins, with saturates sort of being the destabilizing element. In short, saturates and asphaltenes don't really gel together. Higher the saturates in the mix, the asphaltenes will be closer to the threshold of precipitating out. Now, as resid conversion progresses, you can see in the middle plot there, asphaltenes start to lose their alkyl chains. That means the saturate fraction in the oil starts to increase. At the same time, the aromaticity of the asphaltene also keeps on increasing. So this solubility difference between the asphaltene and the oil fraction that keeps on broadening, and we come to a threshold where the oil is no longer able to hold the asphaltene in the solution. And the asphaltene tends to precipitate out and form a separate phase together. And that's when we start to see all the problems happen together. The role of the catalyst in this is to hydrogenate the asphaltene so they don't combine with each other, so that they don't condense, they don't undergo condensation reaction and stay within the oil solution. Now, to address
Sid,
some of
you have 2 minutes more, please.
Yeah. To address these challenges, we've developed a diverse and very innovative CAT portfolio. Currently, we have 5 different Catalyst portfolio, each tailored to a different need. We have on the left the DCS Catalyst platform, which is intended for the highest metal speed. And on the right, we have the high activity LS platform, which is intended for giving a boost to catalyst activity. For example, high HDS, high HDMCR, that's when we would use the LS platform. The other unique aspect of this particular combination of catalyst systems is we can combine different systems to form something what we call dual catalyst system. In multiple reactor system, we can use a combination of these catalyst systems from different platforms to give a very innovative approach to addressing customer problems. One such example is our dual catalyst system, where we can combine a more HDM-based catalyst with a higher macro pore volume and combine that with a more active LS type of catalyst platform. So that way, we're treating feeds with different reactivities. For example, the feed reactivity, the feed behavior, the asphaltene behavior of reactor 1 and reactor 2 in an EB system is quite different. When we have a dual catalyst system, some of these challenges can be adequately addressed. This is a great example of one of our long-term customers. They moved from a single catalyst system to a dual catalyst system. They were able to increase conversion at lower cat-add rate and at lower sediment, which is amazing and added a lot of value to this particular customer. The second example that I have is one of our newest catalysts that we've just invented. It's a successor to our high-activity LS10 platform. The catalyst is GR710. The intent of this is high HDS, high HDMCR, high HDN, wherever we need to improve the properties of the unconverted oil for fuel oil blending purposes, or wherever we have limitations on secondary downstream, secondary hydrotreating capabilities. As you know, most of the streams from EB units, they generally go for secondary treatment, and this is where this catalyst is really helpful. It also helps operators reduce the need to add low sulfur cutter stocks to meet fuel oil specs, because we can lower the sulfur in the unconverted oil with this particular catalyst.
Sid, can you please conclude?
Yeah,
to be fair to
last
speakers.
Just to summarize my presentation here, we are the leaders in resid hydrocracking. We have multiple catalyst platforms. Dual catalyst platform is unique, is a unique offering by ART, and we take a lot of pride in providing the best technical services and support to our customers and helping them generate maximum value out of this unit. With all this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sid. It's a very interesting presentation. I think we can talk all day because it's an emerging technology. I'm sure the audience will try to meet you after the session to spend more time on this technology discussion. So thank you again, Sid. Now the second speaker for the day is Megha Agarwal from Ketjen. She'll be speaking on catalyst innovation, shaping a greener, more efficient refining industry. Over to you, Megha.
Thank you, sir. Hello, everyone. First of all, very glad to see so many technical enthusiasts sitting around on the third day of this event. So thank you very much. Okay, the topic of this session is innovation. And someone said about innovation is not future event, it's a present day activity. And I feel that it truly holds true for our industry, where continuous innovation every day is needed for a better future tomorrow. So that's the topic of my presentation, Catalyst Innovations at Ketjen, shaping a greener, more efficient refining industry for tomorrow. Let's move forward. Okay. It's a broad topic. I'll try my best to summarize everything within this given span of time. So my presentation is divided in 3 segments. First of all, I'm going to talk about the market growth, the future outlook, very briefly, because I know that from last 2 days, you guys have heard a lot about it. The second segment of my presentation is for this future growth, what is needed? Of course, innovations at Kaizen. And in the third segment, we are gonna see what are these innovations doing for our customers in real life. So starting with market growth, very briefly, India has become 4th largest economy in the world recently, and it's on the trajectory of continuous growth. When you're talking about continuous growth for any country, the energy demand is the biggest aspect of it, and in the energy demand, if I further drill down, specifically for Indian market, diesel demand is a key component. So talking about very briefly, the diesel demand projection in India is going to have about 1.5 to 2% of increase per annum from here onwards to 2050. It's a huge growth, to be honest. Okay, so what is needed is really to fulfill this continuous growth in the country. And then on the side by side, you have mandates, the government mandates to fulfill. For example, the net zero targets, 2070. You have National Biofuel Policy, 2018. Self-blend targets, 1% by 2027. When you're talking about the National Biofuel Policy, you have 5% biodiesel or renewable diesel blend targets by 2030. So on one side, you have huge demand to fulfill. On the second side, you have the government mandates to fulfill as well. So what you really need is a sustainable growth to fulfill both the challenges. Now that we have defined our needs, right? One is the demand fulfillment and the second, sustainability. So what we really need to do is, within the given constraint scenario, because your capacity is limited in your reactor, right? So within the given constraint scenario, you have to maximize the most severe feed processing, depending upon type, origin, maximizing the co-processing, meaning to say vegetable oil content, and then maximizing the run length possible, meaning to say less downtime, less changeouts, more profitability. Now, that is, as I said, you still have constraints to meet in your units. For example, the hydrogen partial pressure, the temperature, which holds very much true for our Indian refining industry. So what you really need here is the catalyst innovation who can fulfill or which can fulfill both the aspects within the given constraints. So these are, I'm presenting here the 2 different types of reactor you can say reactor filling scheme, one for the conventional and one for the co-processing. We are going to talk about in a bit more detail in the coming slide about the 2 schemes. So now that we have set up, what we need is continuous innovation at Kaizen. So I want to show you a very quick glimpse of innovation in our country, in our company, where we are not just working on the conventional application, but we are continuously upgrading our portfolio for co-processing and renewables as well. We are committed for our refining industry, making it sustainable and better in future. So you see, very quickly, within just last 6 years, we have increased our portfolio with 6 new grades in 4 different lines. This is just to showcase that continuous innovation is mandatory. Now, I'm going to show you a real-life example that how these innovations are helping our customers in achieving their goals. So this is the example of conventional application, okay, where they're trying to fulfill the growing diesel demand. Very quickly, briefing the unit details, it's a ULSD application with a hydrogen partial pressure. You have a mixed feed stream, straight run gas oil, LCO, coker gas oil, meaning to say you have a lot of cracked stream to process. In summary, it's a difficult feed. Then you have limitation, very much known limitation, hydrogen partial pressure or hydrogen availability. Then you have stringent objectives to fulfill. For example, 7 ppm sulfur targets, you have cracked feed to process, you have to target to meet 4 years of cycle length to maximize the profit. very stringent targets again. So about 6 years back, when we came to the unit, it was loaded with the competition cycle, which is cycle 1 over here. Then, about 6 years back, Ketgen came to the unit with our cycle 2. And then 2 years back, it was loaded with our newer grades of catalysts. We're calling it here cycle 3 for easy reference. So now, with this newer application, let's see what they have done for the customer really. Okay. First of all, just to give you some brief, the blue line shows the competitor cycle. The orange line shows our cycle 1, Ketgen's cycle, first cycle. And the purple shows the Ketgen's newer cycle, which is started 2 years back. So what it did, between the blue line and the orange line, meaning to say competitor cycle and our cycle, we normalized and we brought down the Webbed by 4 degrees. We increased the cycle length from 3 years competition cycle, good enough, but we had 4 years cycle length, better than that. Okay. Between cycle 2 and 3, meaning to say 2 Ketgen cycles with newer grades of the catalysts, we increased the crack feed stream intake, we increased the volumes well, further reduced the temperatures, and now it's running continuously, projected to be meeting 5 years cycle length. So meaning to say this is the power of innovation, that you can keep on optimizing your unit every time within the given constraint. Okay. Now that I have set up the stage for the conventional application, but if you remember in the beginning, I said that not just conventional, but you have a sustainability target to fulfill. So what you really need is co-processing, a low-hanging fruit, where within the given unit, you can start processing the vegetable oil or any other kind of the biofeed, okay? But when you're processing the feed, it's not so straightforward because the type of feed you're processing is different from your conventional feed. Now, how is it different? Because the different impurities. You have solid impurities, you have metal impurities, especially phosphorus, calcium, magnesium. You have a lot of oxygen, meaning you have CO and CO2 formation, which leads to different kinds of problems. You have unsaturated paraffins, and what it causes in the unit is pressure drop problems, lower cycle length or shorter cycle length. You have high hydrogen consumption, yield reduction. Now, question comes in, how to solve this problem? And the good news is, we have the solution available. That is possible just by optimizing your reactor loading or customizing your reactor loading specifically designed for this co-processing, and it is a drop-in solution. Okay. So this is our newest scheme, which I was talking in the beginning, that there are 2 different reactor schemes. This is called Renew Stack System, which is customized especially to maximize your profit while co-processing. We have more than 80 commercial cycle experience available, and it takes care of all your impurities, being it solid impurities, metal impurities, or maximizing your catalyst activity, because the grading becomes shorter and shorter when you're starting co-processing, as you have huge amount of layering to take care of the impurities, right? So you have high HDS, HDN, HDA activity, you have selective fatty acid decomposition just by this newer grades. Now, we are going to see if we have a real-life example available for this application. And yes, we do have, as I said, many, many examples which are running successfully in the industry. This is a EU customer, okay? I'll try to summarize this slide because it's a very busy slide, but in short, we have been there in the unit from last 4 cycles and now looking to 5th cycle. What we have been continuously doing over these past many, many years is we have been continuously pushing the limit of the unit. Customers started the unit co-processing with 7% of palm oil as a co-processing. And since then, there was never looking back. We have been continuously increasing the amount of this biofeed stock. Not just amount of biofeed stock, but the complexity of the biofeed stock, starting from palm oil to animal fat, to POM, to UCOs, with high acidity UCOs, and many more. So on one side, you are increasing the amount of the biofeedstock. On the other side, you are increasing the severity of the feedstock. Still, what we have been able to achieve is not just a stable operation, but continuously increasing or stabilizing the cycle length, starting from the base case to 6-month additional cycle length to now 11-month additional cycle length. And that is only possible with continuous upgrade of your reactor loading, improved reactor loading, and continuous optimization of the unit operation. Thank you, sir. And that is perfectly on time. I conclude my presentation here just to summarize again. The diesel demand in India is on continuous growth trajectory, but finding a right balance between the growth and sustainability is the key. Okay? So that is possible only with continuous innovation. You need to adopt the changing market. So please come and talk to us, leverage on Ketjen's know-how for conventional as well as the renewable feedstock operations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Megha, for keeping your time. And the entire industry knows how Albemarle Ketjen has helped refining industry over the years. So wishing all the very best in future. We will move to the third presentation by Gurmeet Singh, Indian Oil. He'll be speaking on path-breaking catalyst for polypropylene production, the Indian Oil ZN22, the success story. Over to you, Gurmeet.
Yeah, good morning. So we will go through the story of how we did the ZN22 catalyst from lab to our polypropylene units. This is a standard disclaimer. Skipping it, so I will start with the statement, technology is an instrument of equality. Can anybody guess who made the statement? This is a very recent statement. This statement was made by our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, in Global FinFest in this month itself. And this is exactly what theme now we will be talking about when we talk about our ZN22 catalyst also. We have heard our Minister in the inaugural session where he said that petchem is where country is going to grow, and probably in next decade or so we will be hitting 1 trillion mark. And within petrochemical also, the sector which is growing maximum is the polypropylene. All the major producers including IOCL, BPCL, Reliance, Niara, be it private company, government NOCs, IOC, so every company is investing heavily into PP. And new capacities are also coming up. New players will include our company also, IOCL, CPCL. We are going to see huge capacities at Barmer, investments by GAIL, Petronet, NRL. So what it means that for producing polypropylene, we will be requiring huge quantities of catalyst as well. And this catalyst is a very unique catalyst, not a standard catalyst, a very innovative one. And currently also our country is consuming this catalyst to the tune of around 225 metric ton plus, and it is expected to grow to around 450 metric ton by end of this decade with the new startup of these new plants. And all this catalyst presently is imported in India and by limited few companies only. And that was the reason we decided that okay, we have to do something on this catalyst so that in the longer run, as a nation also, we stand self-sufficient. Polypropylene, though, is a very simple product. The Bisleri bottles lying on the tables, the label, the lid is all polypropylene. So it finds very humble applications like our car bumpers, the buckets, the outdoor furniture, the cement bags, the battery. And during COVID, the polypropylene was the thing which was holding virus from our doctors or the medical staff. And there are different types of polypropylenes, and Indian Oil happens to be at present the India's second largest polypropylene producer. That because it is the most versatile, so it finds a lot of application as well. If we look, a lid, bottle lid, the green bottle lid on the Bisleri water bottles looks very simple, but inside it, it's very complex structure, and it's what we can say is very closer to what nature is making. DNA, helical structure, polypropylene, again 3x1 helical structure. To control the architecture of the polypropylene is a very challenging task. Second thing, on this, there is a cobweb on the right side of the slide. So it is one of the most intriguing material because of this irregularities, specificity, which is incorporated into this product itself. And polypropylene happens to be also at the same or a very similar level to what the natural fibers like silk or cobweb are making it. So the polypropylene is successful because of its microstructure, which can rival even what the best of the nature is producing. And why is it so? Because the catalyst which produces it. And the catalyst which goes into its production is the Ziegler-Natta catalyst, which is in the market since 1960s or so, started with 2 Nobel Prizes, both to the Ziegler and the Natta. And the catalyst is a very novel and a very different catalyst from our regular other catalyst systems. The catalyst requires, what we did was, we assembled the catalyst at a molecular level, and it was based on deep scientific acumen, and also we did usage of molecular modeling tools to design the system. And what innovation we did at IOCL, again I would like to corroborate it with the Nobel Prize in Economics for this year. It states that we have to destroy the notions to create new one, otherwise innovation can't proceed. So exactly the same thing when we did this project or this product design, we started with that one. There are few certain catalyst precursors which are known in the market available globally. So we stepped out of that, we destroyed that notion that we have to use only those precursors, we designed entirely a new chemistry. We never relied upon those molecules which are already established in the market, which were all the players were using since last maybe 3-4 decades or more than that, and we decided that if we have to do something, we have to do something new. So we destroyed all that notion, created a new magnesium precursor, new catalyst precursor itself, and we were able to control the catalyst morphology at sub-nano level. When people are talking about the nano level, this catalyst, we are already controlling the crystallite size around 50 angstrom or so. So we designed a new magnesium precursor, which is highlighted in green section. So this was a very unique precursor, single pot, single step, we end up with that chemistry, with that new magnesium compound. And that is based on a never tried, never reported chemistry. And this, while doing so we not only created something new, we created a new knowledge, which I will term as revolutionary because we never used any other existing platform to it. And the same magnesium precursor was used to make the ZN catalyst also. Magnesium precursor, we have trade named it as iMagneb, and using that magnesium precursor we have created then the complete process to make our unique catalyst, which we call it as iZN22. Now coming to some of the characteristics of the catalyst, these are the morphology characteristics which are quite important if we talk about the production. The catalyst is having a very regular morphology, and we were able to replicate the morphology from the catalyst to the polypropylene resin, which is a prerequisite for any successful polypropylene production. And the beauty of this catalyst is that it gave almost 0 fines, much better than any other competitive catalyst available in the market. We have tested this catalyst significantly. We tested this catalyst with different external donors. The people who are producing polypropylene understand that. Then we tested how it will respond to the different process conditions, like hydrogen, if we change, what is going to be the impact on the molecular weight, and with say C donor, D donor, how it is going to affect the product properties, the microstructure, everything was first done thoroughly. And this involved probably more than 10,000 number of experiments. Crystal size, that is a very important part. We were able to control it around 50 angstrom. Higher the crystal size, the catalyst is not going to function well. Because we created something new, we have got a very significant portfolio of our patents also globally in all the important jurisdictions. And we have also got, before we stepped into any further for the commercial production, we first undertook a legal freedom to operate studies before jumping ahead. Now, this is the uniqueness where Indian Oil comes into the picture. We scaled up significantly. We straight away went from lab to the commercial stage. And there are a few people in this audience also whom I should acknowledge. First is my boss, Dr. Alex. He gave us that confidence. And then for the precursor and the catalyst synthesis, Dr. Rashmi was the heading that part. And most difficult was when we scaled up for the polypropylene. We tested this catalyst in the lab where we were getting some 100 gram of polypropylene. And when we put in the reactor, Mr. Sudhakar from Paradip Refinery sitting here, he got all the guts to put the catalyst straight from lab, what we did at the lab, we evaluated the lab, to a plant running almost at 40 tons per hour. So we scaled up that polymerization process by factor of 80,000 or more. And thanks to Indian Oil management for all this confidence, otherwise this exercise won't have been possible. We would have been scouting still for the pilot plants. So when we trialed at Paradip with the Inmax propylene, sourced from Inmax propylene, the trial went exceptionally well. In the first trial itself, all the plant operations were seamless. They were seamless transition from commercial catalyst. And we got a significant mileage of around 57 tons per kg of catalyst, which was around 42 to 43% increase over the commercial catalyst what was being run in the plant at that time. Other critical parameters, hydrogen response, donor response, were within well in the range, and we produced molding grade polymer. The fine generation was pretty less. Powder was flowing much better. The steam consumption reduced, the power consumption also reduced. Then recently we tested at, some dates are very critical. This test was done around our Republic Day, 26th Jan of this year. And when we run at the Panipat, a very significant, I can correlate with the very significant event of Operation Sindoor. We were there in the plant for that whole period from 7th, almost 7th to 15th of May this year. While a war was going at the border, we were also having our own war while running this catalyst. So at the Panipat, then we trialed for the further more number of grades. We made products from 3-MFI to MFI successfully. There was no hiccups in operation. We were using different commercial catalysts. So we came with one catalyst, we went out with the other catalyst. So the catalyst proved to be a perfect drop-in catalyst. We can use it in this variable plant, and it is designed for some other units as well. The significant numbers, what if we can speak, is that the mileage was almost 1.4 to 1.5 times higher than the commercial catalyst. And
Gurmeet, you have 2 minutes more.
This is the last slide. And the interesting fact of this catalyst is the whole hydrocarbon industry works on breaking the molecules. And this is the one catalyst, when we put up in the plant, it joins the molecule. So when our, say in Paradip, when we were running the catalyst, so the catalyst was almost joining 10 to the power 30 propylene molecules per hour. That is a very significant number. So in summary, this catalyst development involved innovation, freedom to operate. We set a global benchmark as far as the performance goes. We created a new knowledge in form of our magnesium precursor. We stepped from evolutionary to revolutionary. We destroyed the old nations to create the new notions. And the catalyst has been scaled up, produced in India, put up the plant, and you can, I have already shared the factors of 80,000 times when we have put up in the unit. And it is designed in India, produced in India, and with immense pleasure used also in India. So it happens to be a global changer, game changer for India. And another interesting fact is that most of the chemicals what were used to produce the magnesium precursor, what we designed, are also produced in India. So we are not relying upon any exotic chemistry or any expensive chemicals to be imported and then produce the catalyst. We used what was available within our nation, designed a new chemistry around it, and took the journey from the lab to the polypropylene plant. Thanks.
Thank you, Gurmeet. A path-breaking, Atmanirbhar story. And as told by Gurmeet, our chairman, Dr. Alex, personal touch in this catalyst needs to be, probably appreciated. Thank you very much, sir, for giving this catalyst to the world. Thank you, Gurmeet. Now we move over to Pramod Kumar, HPCL, for another success story. Advanced catalyst for maximizing propylene and ethylene yields in FCC reactor. Over to you, Pramod.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So first of all, I thank the organizer for giving us the opportunity to bring the innovation to a much bigger forum like ETMs, like from HPCL R&D, what we are talking about the Nano ZSM-5. So one of the pertinent question what we were asked is, ZSM-5 itself is a nano. So what we are bringing nano into that? So probably we'll draw your attention into that innovation, what we are doing and what we have done so far into that. So that's the presentation we'll carry forward. So the content goes like that. What is the limitation in the conventional ZSM-5 and what we bring on the platform, and what is the success story, followed by the summarization. So from the last 2 days, there is a lot of talk about increasing the petrochemical intensity. And in that, we are all talking about crude to chemical platforms and all. We talked about all hardwares and all. But from the catalyst side, there is a lot of ample opportunities, and we'll talk about that. So this slide shows about what is the propylene, ethylene, CAGR in India and worldwide numbers. So just to draw an attention, like from the FCC, we can get around 30% of the propylene, the steam cracker gives 46. But the right side is shows, if we move towards the petrochemical like COTC complex, so it will give around more than 30% of the olefins and the aromatics, which is like we are seeing in the channel, a lot of COTC complexes has come. Even HPCL is having a technology which is coming up next year, Code Technologies. So there this catalyst, if we talk about the catalytic routes, so the catalyst plays a very, very important role into making the olefins from these technologies, COTC and the FCC. So this slide, just a very, very generic slides, how the molecules, if we start from the VGO range molecules, how it gets cracked into that. So I will draw your attention towards the last one. So ZSM-5 is the particle or the material which cracks the gasoline towards the olefins. So there the key innovation lies, how much potential lies in the ZSM-5 and how we can play around with that material to make more of a olefins. This is very, very technical slide, and I'd like to draw your attention on this slide. So we know like ZSM-5 is a pentacyl zeolites. It's a 10-member rings having sinusoidal structure. If you see the right side, it has like sinusoidal channels as well as this straight channels. Now if you see this size of this B axis as well as the A axis goes around 2 micron. That's the 2000 nanometer, the typical like kind of hexagonal ZSM-5. And if you see this B axis, it's around the 1000 nanometers. So what we have looked into, if it can cut down this B axis as well as the A axis, so probably if you see these sinusoidal things, there is a diffusion into that. The molecule enters, it will take long time. And let us imagine if the gasoline enters into that, because of this excess diffusion length, it gives into the aromatics and the cokes. So essentially, if we cut down this B axis and the A axis, probably we'll be overcoming the diffusion limitation. And that's what the innovation we have brought at HPCL R&D Center. So what we have done is, we synthesized this ZSM-5 where we are cutting down both the B axis and the A axis into that. So this is the typical like micron size ZSM-5, which is having 1000 and 2000. So even if we reduce the size, let us say this sinusoidal chain length from the 2000 to 1000, still it will be into the hexagonal. And this will be still into the micron. So now what we are trying to bring on the platform is bringing down both the A axis and the B axis, bring down to the nano range. I mean from the 2000 to the 100 nanometers, and the B axis coming down from the 1000 to the 100 nanometers. And beautifully you can see the hexagonal crystals, it becomes a truncated spheres. That's the kind of shift in the morphology we are bringing into the nano GSM-5. So it's not only the size reduction, but the morphology also gets changed. Now very beautifully you can see that hexagonal one is having not much external surface area. But if you truncate that and bring into a sphere, the external surface area elongates by almost 2 times into that. And that elongated external surface area we are encasing into various ways, which we'll see subsequently what it gives the advantage. This is how we reached into that. We have carried out the detailed DFT and we understood what is the size required for cracking all these molecules what we have shown in the left side. And what I mean by simulation is you require a modified growth, modifier which can control that nucleus growth and the crystallization. So we figured out what kind of that modifiers are required so that you don't allow the B axis to go to the kind of macro range and the A axis also go into the micro range. So that's the kind of DFT and simulation, and with that we have designed this molecule. So this is just a summary about, if we talk about the conventional GSM-5, because of the sinusoidal change, there is a slow diffusion, leads to the higher coke and the aromatics, surface area, external surface area is low, and it has a limitation in the cracking of the heaviers. Now we are all talking about the petrochemicals, and probably right now we do not have the solution to crack the diesels, kerosenes, though we can crack in the cracker, but at a lot of expense. GSM-5 is such a molecule, if we tune it, probably we can crack LCO and the diesel, that's what we'll also show into that. So the NanoPro, what we have developed, it has all advantage, faster diffusion, low coke, which is required, external surface area, low side products, less of methane, I mean. It maximizes the cracking of the heavies. So this is that micron size GSM-5. If you say the same, it goes into the 1000 to 3000 nanometers. And this is what this HP NanoPro, it goes into the 50 to 100 nanometers in that range. So this HP NanoPro is built into the 4H, that's the acidity. We have fine-tuned the acidity of this nanozeolite to stop the side products, which is methanes, cokes, aromatization. Activity is enhanced to restrict to the formation of the ethylene and the propylene, and also crack the LCO when we are doing, let us say, in the FCC regime. It has a improved accessibility because the diffusion length is reduced. It has a very good attrition when we formed a body to make a GSM-5 particle for the FCC application. So these are the key differentiator, improved olefin yield. That's the demand, because right now we are not looking into the aromatics when we talk about the COTC complexes. So that's, yesterday also somebody was talking, can you develop a material which reduces the aromatics? And one of the solutions from the catalyst side is this. Of course, when we do any business, cost should be lower. So in this, like, our cost is not much higher than the conventional GSM-5. And this material has been validated at a metric ton level. We'll show where we are doing all these things. So what are the kind of innovation or the challenges we have overcome is the uniform crystal size. We got the truncated sphere I have shown you earlier. It's a high crystallinity. Avoidance of the centrifuge. Typically when you make the GSM-5, nano GSM-5, what the literature says is you have to do the ultra centrifugation. That becomes a very, very costly, and the recovery of the material becomes very, very low. So we have brought a new innovation where we don't at all require centrifugation. We do only by the filtration. Of course, the yield of the nanozeolite, when we started, the yield was very, very low, almost like 50%. Now we matched more than 90% of the yields. That becomes a commercial solution. So coming to the key novelty we brought is the stabilized nuclei. What happens when you are trying to grow the zeolite? First it goes to the nucleation and then goes to the crystallization. So the nucleation formation has to be stabilized so that you can control the axial growth in the both the AB sides. We have the ensemble of the crystal that helps into that, and we are not adding any secondary templates. There are a lot of literature which says if you want to cut down the A axis and B axis, you go for the multiple kind of the templates to control that, but we are not using any secondary templates. And of course, we are using two stages of the control. That's one is the gelation. We have some variation into that, followed by the crystallization. So here, the left side shows about the nanozeolites. We have made that nanozeolites to a ton level, and with all the known bindings. The right side shows the spray dryer we have in our campus. Using that, we have made this nanoparticle, nanomaterials. So these are the physicochemical properties. I would like to draw your attention. Please see that external surface area, reference ZSM5, that's again our HPCL's own ZSM5, which is commercially running in the refinery. From 100, we are going to 187. That's the kind of tremendous increase in the surface area we are trying to bring, external surface area, because of the truncated spheres we have shown. Now comes the performance. We are all talked about the science and everything. I'd like to draw your attention about the two things. Please see that LCO reduction. It's a tremendous reduction, 1.2% LCO. The right side is the conventional micron ZSM5. So 1.2% LCO reduction is there at the same cat oil, and almost like 4% ZSM5 into that formulation. And propylene is almost increasing by 1.7% with respect to the conventional ZSM5. So now we are all done. Now we are into the business. So we have now tied up with the PIDC. They will be marketing this zeolite worldwide. And we have done some economics for our own FCC units. Just by replacing the conventional ZSM5 with this nano ZSM5, we will be getting a 13 crores per year of the benefits. So yes, this slide shows about our journey. We started a thought process on this, and just to bring our management's thought, when we went to the proposal about developing the ZSM5, he told, everybody does the ZSM5, instead of 20%, you go to 50, 60%. So you have to bring some novelty into that. And that's what our journey started from 22, and we scaled up this material to in 2024 up to 1 ton level. And right now we are making around 20 tons of the materials, and we'll be completing the commercial trial by 26 into that.
Pramod, you have 1 minute.
Yeah. So ZSM5 various applications, biofuel, cracking, LCO aromatization, all those things are there. Maybe we can look into that. The key advantage I talked about, the major advantage is the LCO improvements, and this has been having low co-kilt into that. This is very unique, like I just want to draw your attention. Within less than 2 years of filing, we got this patent, US patent, and yesterday we were awarded this European patent as well. And we have a FTO to make this material. Yeah. So in summary, this is first of the kind nanomaterials having the uniform crystal size and the nano size. And probably, as we understand, we are probably the second in the world who had this nano ZSM5 in the open market. This has been validated by the third party. It has a wide application beyond FCC can be looked into, and it has a significant business potential. So we are here to, if you want to connect somebody, we'll be offering this also. Thank you for your patience here.
Thank you, Pramod. No wonder that you have got the CST award this time for this innovation. And more commendable is that this has been made possible within 2 years. That speaks volumes about the efficiency of HPCL. Best wishes for the future again. Now we change gears. We try to now see how regenerated catalyst can be managed. I cordially invite Siddharth Sagar from Eurecat to tell us about the advancements in regenerated catalyst pool management.
Thank you, sir, for allowing us. And thank you, CST, sirs are present here. They are always instrumental in ensuring, our voice is reached to the people. So thank you for the same. We are not going to tell you here about any new catalyst technology. We are just going to say that whichever technology catalysts are being mentioned and discussed, they are all really precious and use them wisely. Yeah. So again, to start with a golden statement, you might have heard the statement somewhere. What is needed today is mindful and deliberate utilization instead of mindless and destructive consumption. So the focus here is given to be watchful on what you are using and what you are destructing. Do you know anyone recall this statement somebody said somewhere? Again, going on to our friend, colleague says, it was none other than our Prime Minister who had started Mission Lifestyle for Environment. That was started in one of the United Climate Conference in 21 in Glasgow. And it really emphasized on need of we be really watchful on what we are destructing and what we should be reusing. So here what I'm going to talk about is catalyst reuse. As you all know that catalyst is, unfortunately we have started considering catalyst as a raw material. By definition, catalyst is reusable and regenerable. So this is again to give constant reminder that catalyst should be reused in our refinery. And why? First and foremost, we are based in India, so any catalyst being regenerated, that gives a significant boost to the Atmanirbhar Bharat. It gives a huge saving. That's the prime, motive for doing all this such activities. And finally, it gives really a good CO2 footprint saving, because when you are reusing catalyst, you are not extracting the metals from the ground, you are preserving the resources, valuable resources. You are avoiding very energy conserving manufacturing processes. And roughly, you can make around 60% of CO2 footprint saving. So with that, 2-minute break from our technical session, and we go to my always favorite Dilbert's comic satire. So there is a scenario wherein a refiner or a user is discussing with a vendor. And what he's saying, my company is moving to just-in-time inventory strategy. You will deliver when we need it. So here refiner is saying that you just deliver us when we need it. We don't need it right now. So our fellow vendor says, so thank you, your success depends on my company doing what it promises. So you have my deepest sympathy. So supplier becomes very thankful to them that you are, believing us, and your success depends upon our efficiency on delivering the material. The moment they hear, a refiner says, I feel a sharp stabbing pain in my chest. So it was just a comic satire. What they want to say is that some of the time, you are putting many things on the risk. I mean, there might be a chances, when the delivery of the material might get delayed, and your success depends upon your supplier success. So if you want to really, avoid that, or if you really want to be very much sure about what you have in your warehouses, is a bit of inventory. So here I have talked many of the time about the catalyst regeneration. A little bit extended concept, what I'm talking about is here is catalyst pool management. So what we are suggesting in doing is, whenever a spent catalyst is getting unloaded, you just check the regenerability, do the regeneration, and you make a common catalyst pool. You can make that pool at any of the refinery. You have multiple refineries, or it can be done at our warehouses also. And you keep accumulating the catalyst. And whenever any such need arises, wherever you have, emergency, or even not emergency, you want to use as a fresh load. So at that time, you have number of catalyst available with different COA, the analysis you have, everything, and you can club it with the fresh catalyst, and you have all the choices to make a very efficient loading diagram for all your upcoming models. So how does it work? These are some of the benefits of catalyst pool management, why you need to do that. As always, we said that it is a huge cost saving. Ballpark number if I give you, if you do regeneration and rejuvenation, so all this entire process will result in roughly 60% of cost saving, which is really huge. I already said CO2 footprint reduction, roughly, again a ballpark number, if you manufacture fresh catalyst, you are likely to generate 8.5 kg of CO2 per kg of catalyst. Instead of that, if you regenerate the catalyst, we have also this process is also energy conserving. So you are likely to produce 3 kg of CO2 per kg of catalyst. So there is roughly 60% delta between these two processes. So second is CO2 reduction. As I always said, third is a Make in India promotion. Fourth is flexibility in cat selection. This I already said. This is the basic aim of catalyst pool management, that you have number of catalysts already available, which is your own, in your own warehouses, and you have all the flexibility to select out of them. And by chance, if any catalyst batch is failed, you have readily catalyst available with you. So you have a crisis management also. And one more thing, metal price variation. So that you might have, as a purchaser, you might have experienced some of the time that when you place the order, the price is something else. When you decide to put a tender, it price is something else. And when actually the material comes, the price is really something else. So we don't have much control about the external factors, particularly on the moly market. So if you want to avoid all these things, you need to do the pool management. So in one sentence we say, a place for everything, and everything is in place. Right? A little bit of the process, how it can be done is, say for example, you are unloading any spent catalyst. Yeah, you are unloading a spent catalyst. What needs to be done is, you need to conduct thoroughly check about the unloading catalyst. So generally we remain present at the site, and we take the systematic samples. We tell you that out of this entire unloading catalyst, what is regenerable and what is non-regenerable. So you have two clear-cut quantities, both the side. For 1 minute, I will go in the next side, and I will come back. So how it goes is, this is a catalyst unloading pattern. So this brown catalyst is a contaminated catalyst, and below is a white is a fresh catalyst. So what happens generally, the procedure is like, the unloading is happening in way that initially all your fresh catalyst will come from the bottom side, and then gradually a contaminated catalyst will come. So you are not able to exactly, segregate. So if you do proper drum-wise sampling, then you have, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you do such proper segregation and sampling during the time of catalyst unloading, you will have a definitely idea that what catalyst is really regenerable. Say for example, from dump 1, 2, 3, it's clear-cut regenerable. Again, there is some back mixing, so we can avoid that. And from drum number 11 to in next word, they are again doable. So this is what we say is, again coming back to that slide. So this is the first step of identifying a regenerable catalyst. So it is the stage, we should put our money on the right horse. So it is the procedure of selecting the right horse. Then a refiner decides to do a regeneration. Material is regenerated. We submit you the job completion report along with the COA. What is COA? Certificate of Analysis tells you all the properties of regenerated catalyst, which is like physical property, like length, strength, everything, and along with the your activity also, like relative volume activity, the metal contamination, everything. This gives you an idea. Then a refinery, publishes the tender for mixed loading, maybe fresh and regenerated both. And then fresh catalyst is supplied by the manufacturer, and a regenerated catalyst comes from the pool. And finally, a refinery B gets both of them. So this is the procedure how it goes. This we already seen. This is the same what we discussed. I'm not taking more time. So finally, so there are 3 players in making this entire process very efficient and smooth. One is refiner, who has a will and wish to do regeneration. At one side, there is a cat supplier who provides the fresh catalyst. And at the third side, there is a regenerator who provides the regenerated catalyst. And always teams win. We know all of them. I'll just go fast. I need not to tell. So there are, we have, at Educate India, we have generated more than 7,000 ton of regeneration. Catalyst regeneration was always in and is always popular in Western countries. In India, it was a new concept when we introduced in 2014, but we have come a long way, and now we have a really good examples and units running with almost 50% in a proportion regenerated and fresh catalysts. So we have a really good experience building. I will not go much into the detail because we are already getting late, I think. So this is to tell you why, the mixing of fresh and regenerated catalyst will give you almost the same result as it would give as a fresh, because the catalyst activity required on the top section is really not very high, because only simpler sulfur removal is required. That is a mercaptan or S2S or etc. But in the bottom, you need to deal with very difficult people. That is your thiobenzene and all these things. So there you need your best of the player, which is a next generated fresh catalyst. I just end my this thing with our Mahatma Gandhi's statement. Swadeshi is the only doctrine consistent with the law of the humanity and love. So with that, thank you for your attention to this matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Siddharth. Not only you are regenerating catalyst, by moving around, you are regenerating the minds also. Thanks for that. I think this concept is yet to bloom, but I think you are on the right path. Now the final speaker for the session is by Arvind Sudkemi. He's going to talk about next generation acetylene hydrogenation catalyst for steam crackers and how they are going to redefine selectivity, stability, and sustainability. Oh, Arvind.
Thank you, Mr. Chandrasekhar, Dr. Alex, fellow speakers, ladies and gentlemen. Please allow me to start the presentation by asking you a question. Cars today can be run like this, on autopilot, right? Not in India yet, but if you go to cities like Los Angeles, go to San Francisco, and if you book a taxi on a Waymo app, a car will come at your doorstep without a driver in it. So that's a level of innovation that has happened in automobile industry in the last 20 years. Now, what if we have a catalyst that can also run on autopilot? What do we mean by that? If we can design a catalyst which is forgiving to slight changes in the operating conditions, some slight changes in the feed composition, but yet deliver the same performance that you expect from it, would it be nice to have? Would it be really possible? Let's take a look. So my presentation today is about next generation of steam generation catalysts. How are we redefining these catalysts in terms of sustainability, stability, and selectivity? Here's the plan. I'll take about a minute to talk about the company, then we'll do a double click and look into what the steam cracking process is, where is the acetylene generated, how it is typically removed, and what are the current challenges. And then we'll go deep dive into two of the process schemes where acetylene hydrogenation is removed. One is called as the front-end technology, second is called a tail-end technology, and we'll give you some insights about how are we solving some of the challenges. So about the company, Sudkemi is a well-diversified catalyst company. We operate across various market segments, and the product we're talking about today is from the refinery and petrochemical segment. A little bit about the history of the company. Sudkemi and Clariant were two independent companies until 2011. And in 2011, Clariant acquired Sudkemi, and ergo, we operate as a 50-50 joint venture in India. Sudkemi also happens to be the largest catalyst company in India. We do about 25,000 tons of catalyst each year, out of which about 9,000 to 10,000 tons is going into the Indian market. Rest of the catalysts are going into international market. With this quick introduction, we will go into the main topic of presentation, steam cracker. Now, what is a steam cracker? Steam cracker can take various hydrocarbons ranging from ethane to kerosene. It goes into a cracking furnace where hydrocarbons get mixed into steam. And then further downstream, it goes into fractionation and separation processes. Now, after fractionation, you have the lightest components, which are hydrogen and methane, and you have the heaviest components, which is fuel oil. The area of interest where selective hydrogenation is required is what comes in between these two. So in the C2 range, the objective is to maximize ethylene. In C3 range, your objective is to maximize propylene. And you have C4 range, where you can either selectively hydrogenate it, or you can totally saturate it and recycle it back to the cracker. And in C5 to C8, you have pi gas streams. So all the 4 streams that you see here need some sort of a selective hydrogenation to make it suitable for use in the downstream. Now, let's look to the details of ethylene stream, which is the topic of interest today. So acetylene is a byproduct that is produced during the cracking process. And the reason acetylene needs to be removed from ethylene is because acetylene is a poison to the downstream polymerization catalyst. And acetylene is typically removed by catalytic hydrogenation only, because acetylene and ethylene, they boil together, so it can't be removed by distillation. Now, if you look at chemistry, it's pretty simple. 1 mole of acetylene needs 1 mole of hydrogen. It's an exothermic reaction. But if you go into the details, you will also see that there's also a lot of ethylene present in the system, right? When you talk about petrochemicals, you're dealing with olefins, and olefins are super reactive molecules. By nature, if there is hydrogen and if there is also ethylene, there's a potential for ethylene to react, leading to a loss of ethylene. So the objective of the catalyst is not just a normal hydrogenation, but it's important that it's a selective hydrogenation of the catalyst. So essentially, this is done industrially via 2 process schemes. One process scheme is known as a tail-end acetylene hydrogenation. And what you see here is the composition at the inlet of the acetylene hydrogenation. And by design, in a tail-end scheme, you have hydrogen that is separated upstream. So you have ethylene, you have ethane, and acetylene going into acetylene hydrogenation reaction. So by design, this operates with a control hydrogen. And by virtue of this, the catalyst gets deactivated more faster. It operates in cycles. It needs regeneration. And the second scheme, which is more in fashion these days, is called a front-end acetylene hydrogenation. And within front-end, there are 3 schemes possible: deethanizer, depropanizer, and raw gas. Right? So in deethanizer scheme, in addition to the tail-end scheme, you also have hydrogen. You also have CO. Right? The challenge with this scheme is when you have excess amount of hydrogen in the system and when you have ethylene, there's always a risk of a thermal runaway. Remember, ethylene is an olefin and it's super reactive. So this is one of the challenges when we tailor-make a catalyst for this application. The catalyst needs to be supremely selective, such that the excess hydrogen that's present in the system does not react with ethylene, but stays focused on reacting only with acetylene. More importantly, there's also CO in the system. All the selective hydrogen catalysts are palladium-based, which means CO has a moderation effect on the catalyst. It might inhibit the activity of the catalyst. And based on the CO content, the activity goes up and down. CO goes up, the activity goes down. CO goes down, the activity goes up, and can lead to a reaction of ethylene and acetylene, leading to runaway reactions. So with this quick introduction, we'll do a little bit of a more deeper dive and see what are the current challenges we see in the front-end hydrogenation catalytic systems. Now, we spoke about what are the components that are present in the front-end acetylene hydrogenation for deethanizer and depropanizer flow schemes. Let's take a deeper dive and see what is the quantum of the molecules that are present at the inlet of these reactors. First is acetylene. Depending upon what you feed, what is the severity of your cracking furnaces, it can be as low as 0.15, it can be as high as 0.9. You have hydrogen, which is required for hydrogenation. It can be as high as 40%, but in the range of 15 to 40%, right? So far, so good. But what makes the things more complex is also present of a lot of ethylene, right? You have ethylene, you have hydrogen. Typically, if ethylene reacts with hydrogen, for every mole percent of ethylene, you have a 25 degree C of exotherm. Now, if you have something like 30% ethylene, and if you have enough hydrogen, do the math. It's almost 750 degree of exotherm in the reactor, which can cause a potential thermal runaway, right? Now, what makes the matters more worse is there's also CO. CO goes up and down, the catalyst activity goes up and down. It can further make things a lot more complex than it already is. So how do you solve for this? Looking at all the challenges and the thermal runaway that is possible, the challenges with the CO, one runaway on the catalyst can be one too many, which means if the catalyst that typically operates at 40 to 100 degrees centigrade, if there's a runaway where the temperature goes up to 500 degrees centigrade, you cool the catalyst bed, you can't expect the catalyst to behave the same. So one of the things that the crackers ensure is that do everything possible, but avoid the possibility of runaway happening, right? One of the ways to look into designing of a catalyst to avoid a runaway is to look at the operating window. Now, operating window is measured in terms of degrees C. It's a measure of temperature. And operating window, when we talk to customers, they often get confused that it could be inlet temperature at start of the run, inlet temperature at end of the run. Operating window is actually something very different. So how do we define operating window as? It's a temperature at which you get a full conversion of acetylene. In this plot, you will see that as T1. And the temperature at which you have a trigger for the runaway, you will see that as T2. The delta between T1 and T2 is defined as operating temperature. And as you might have already seen, the wider the operating window, the safer it is for the catalyst to operate. The possibility of runaway gets prevented when you have a larger operating window. Now let's take a look at the catalysts and the evolution of operating window over various generations of catalysts. The first generation of catalysts, as you see, had a very narrow operating window. And as the generation of the catalyst improved over a period of time, the operating windows have widened. The fourth generation catalysts are the ones in the market right now, and they have operating window of at least 2 times that of third generation catalyst. So mind you, when you talk about operating window, it's always a function of CO. If the CO goes down, the operating window generally is smaller. If the CO is high, the operating window is higher. So if you're building a steam cracker of a front-end technology, if you're looking for front-end acetylene hydrogenation catalyst, one of the things that you should always ask for is, what is the operating window? And at what operating window at what CO is the operating window? So fourth generation catalysts, what are they doing for us? They're operating on spec without any runaway. They're operating at near perfect selectivities. If you look at some of the third generation catalysts, 80% selectivity was already a very good number.
Arvind, you have 2 minutes, please.
All right, thank you. And they're operating currently at the selectivity numbers of something like 98% or so right now. They were operating on enhanced stability, which means they're avoiding runaways in spite of changes in the CO. Remember, we talked about autopilot. And they're operating at very long operating lives, which is always a bonus for customers. If all this looks too good to be true, we would encourage you to talk to some of our customers. The largest front-end acetylene hydrogenation is operating in Jamnagar in Reliance. And India's first front-end acetylene hydrogenator is operating at GAIL Pata. So luckily, we have customers from GAIL here. Please feel free to talk to them and get a first-hand insight on this catalyst. So switching gears, we'll talk very quickly about tail-end acetylene hydrogenation. By design, tail-end acetylene hydrogenation do not have runaways, but they have other operation challenges. It's like driving your manual car with a lot of things to control, and there is a chance of error. And where there is a chance of error, things can get very, very wrong. Sorry. So how does a typical tail-end acetylene hydrogenation operate? It operates in cycles. The first cycle starts at a high selectivity. Over a few months of operation, the selectivity drops. Then the other standby reactors comes into action, and the first reactor goes into regeneration. It operates in multiple cycles, right? Every time there is a regeneration, you introduce air into the system, burn off the carbon. It leads to a lot of manual intervention, switching up the lines. There is risk of something going wrong. Now, what if we eliminate a regeneration altogether? What if we extend the cycle of the catalyst from 6 months to something like 3+ years? Can a new generation catalyst address this? Let's take a look.
Arvind, 1 minute, please.
Sure. Thank you.
You can conclude and probably they can interact with you later.
Sure, I need exactly 1 minute. Thank you. So the latest generation catalysts are giving us about 3 years of cycle length. Think about the current generation catalyst, which is about 6 months of cycle length, needing a regeneration. The latest generation catalysts are drop-in solution, which means you don't need to change any hardware. All you need to do is just change the catalyst. Higher selectivity means more ethylene, more money. And you're avoiding regeneration, which means you're avoiding CO2, you're avoiding the usage of energy and utilities. And if you were to give a name to this catalyst, it's called as Olemax 207. And almost 20% of our customers are already switched from regenerative mode to single cycle mode. With this, I'd like to conclude. 3 catalysts for 3 different applications: Olemax 260 for front-end deethanizer, Olemax 252 for front-end depropanizer, and Olemax 207 for tail-end ethylene hydrogenation. All these 3 catalysts are taking us one step closer to what an ideal catalyst should be, which is to run on autopilot. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Arvind. Apologies, you have a lot to say, but we also have a time frame. But I urge all the participants to interact with Arvind later to get more insights into this. So with this, we come to the conclusion of this very, very exciting session. And it has been a privilege to co-chair this session along with Dr. Alex. Now I hand over the session back to Dr. Alex.
I think we had about 1 hour and 45 minutes of very engaging presentations by all the speakers, and I think we should applaud them for a good presentation. So we don't have time, but still I'm tempted to ask some questions, but I think we should take it offline. So thanks all the speakers for your excellent presentation, and I think we'll hand it over to the organizers to take it forward.
Thank you very much for that very, very enlightening session that we just enjoyed. We do understand that there may be some questions, but since we'll be having a break immediately after this, we can maybe connect with the speakers individually and talk to them just in case as we want. So ladies and gentlemen, as we just saw, that innovation in catalysis isn't just about the faster reactions, it is about accelerating progress itself. The journey from lab to field transforms ideas into inputs, and that's where science truly serves the society. So as we thank our panelists, our chairpersons, for their valuable perspectives that they shared with all of us, may I take an opportunity to please request mementos, tokens of appreciation and gratitude for each of our speakers. So as we begin, may I please request Dr. Alex to kindly please present tokens of respect for our speakers, beginning with Mr. Siddharth Mohanty. Please come. So for each of our speakers, we request a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, from WR Grace, Mr. Siddharth Mohanty. Thank you for sharing your presentation with all of us. Ms. Megha, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your presentation. Ms. Megha Agarwal. जोरदार तालियां मेघा जी के लिए. Mr. Gurmeet Singh, thank you for that very interesting and enlightening presentation made by you. बहुत ही अच्छी presentations इस session में हमने enjoy की हैं. हमारे सभी distinguished speakers के लिए एक बार फिर से जोरदार तालियां हमारे audience की तरफ से. So thank you, Dr. Alex, and may I now request Mr. N. Chandrasekhar to please present the rest of the mementos. Mr. Pramod Kumar from HPCL. Thank you, Pramod ji, for making that presentation and sharing your thoughts, ideas, views with all of us. A round of applause for Mr. Pramod Kumar. Mr. Siddharth Sagar, thank you for your enlightening presentation. And also a very different way in which you presented the initial phase of the presentation. Thank you, Mr. Siddharth. Can we have a louder applause, ladies and gentlemen, for each of our presenters? And Mr. Arvind. Thank you, Mr. Arvind, for joining us here in this technical session and sharing your expertise with all of us. May I please invite on stage Director CHT Shri Shekhar Kulkarni ji to please join us to present tokens of appreciation for our chairpersons for the session. Dr. Alex, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause for Dr. Alex, ED R&D at IOCL, and Mr. N. Chandrasekhar, ED R&D at BPCL. Zordar taaliyan hamare chairpersons ke liye. And as we said, we are truly honored to have amongst us the distinguished chairpersons for today's sessions, accomplished R&D leaders from the most pioneering organizations in the energy sector. We'll now have a group picture with the entire panel, and then, of course, we need a refreshing tea break, which will be for 15 minutes. And ladies and gentlemen, very quick break that all of us deserve. And then we come back for the last session, the final session, the technical session number 15, which is also going to be the last session for the day, as well as for ETM 2025. So thank you very much for that wonderful, enlightening session that all of us really enjoyed. We surely have some important takeaways, and please feel free to connect with any of our presenters just in case you have any queries or any questions that you may want to address them. Thank you very much, and we will reconvene in 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly please come back in time, and we're looking forward to the final session, technical session number 15, which we will begin shortly in 15 minutes. Thank you very much. आइए एक छोटा सा ब्रेक लेते हैं. चाय का ब्रेक बिल्कुल बनता है, तो 15 मिनट में सभी लोग प्लीज वापस लौट कर आ जाएं. धन्यवाद. Thank you very much.
Indian Oil proudly enters the agro
1, 2. So just checking on our speakers for the next session, if they are here. Kindly please identify yourselves. Mr. Karthik R. from MRPL. Okay. Sanjay Lakshman. Okay. Mr. Harpreet Singh. Are you here? Mr. Harpreet Singh? Yamini Gupta? Yamini? You here? Okay. Shubham Gupta? Shubham from BPCL? So waiting for Mr. Harpreet Singh and Mr. Shubham Gupta. So do we have Mr. Harpreet Singh and Mr. Shubham Gupta in the hall? Okay, fine. Right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to begin with the final session for the day as well as the 28th ETM for which all of us had gathered in Hyderabad. So while moving on to the final technical session, which is on the topic of domestic new product innovation, we are straight away diving into the proceedings of the session. May I please invite everyone, especially our participants who are just walking in, to kindly please quickly be seated so that we can begin with the proceedings. So this is the final session and looking forward to some enlightening interactions and takeaways that we can have after the discussions that we have here. We do have an illustrious set of panelists, speakers who have joined us here along with their valuable perspectives, which will be shared by them one by one as directed by our chairperson. So let us begin with this session by inviting the session chairperson to kindly please join us on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please join hands for Mr. Nanda Kumar, Director, MRPL. Zordar taliyan inke liye. From Mangalore Refinery and Petrochemicals Limited, he's the Director Refinery. And I think we can have a louder applause. This is the final session and final session for ETM as well. He holds 11 granted patents and has 7 patents under examination, published 4 papers in international journals before becoming Director of the Refinery at MRPL. He served as Group General Manager in Corporate Strategy, where he led high-value projects, including a $500 million investment in the refinery's Phase 3 expansion. He also contributed to industry standards as a convener for the Bureau of Indian Standards Subcommittee and was a member of the Government Task Force for Centers of Excellence in Plastics and Petrochemicals. So this is a little about our chairperson for the session, Mr. Nanda Kumar. And now I move on to the paper presentations by our illustrious panelists who will be joining us in. Please join hands as we invite Mr. Karthik R from MRPL to join us on stage. Karthik ke liye zordar taliyan. Please join hands, ladies and gentlemen, for our speakers who are joining us now on stage for their respective presentations. Sanjay Lakshman from HPCL, zordar taliyan Sanjay ji ke liye. Please join hands for Mr. Sanjay Lakshman. Inviting on stage from IOCL, Mr. Harpreet Singh to please join us. Zordar taliyan Harpreet ji ke liye. Can we have a louder applause? Ladies and gentlemen, may I please invite Ms. Yamini Gupta from IOCL R&D to please join us on stage. Please join hands for Ms. Yamini Gupta. And last but not the least, from BPCL, we have Mr. Shubham Gupta joining us in. Zordar taliyan Shubham ji ke liye. So we have our set of speakers who will be presenting their papers now, and the session chairperson is already seated. So with this, may I quickly please request everyone to be seated, especially our participants who are just walking in, to please take their seats, and may I please request Mr. Nanda Kumar to kindly please begin the proceedings of the session from here. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning. And I understand that this is the last and final session of the ETM 2025. I presume that CST has kept the best for the last. So I understand from the mix, there are very interesting topics covered. And in line with the theme of this event, sustainable refining, we have a group of distinguished speakers who will be talking about what they have done at their own organization. And sometimes they may sound a little maverick, unconventional, but I'm sure I can vouch for each one of them. What they tell is what already they have practiced. So to that extent, they deserve a round of applause, gentlemen. And to the speakers, I think each of you will be given 15 minutes. I'll give a hint, maybe 2 minutes remaining. So I hope you will keep the time. And we'll reserve the question and interaction, if time permits, to the end of the session. So without taking much of time, I invite the first speaker of this session, Mr. Karthik, to speak on his topic, refinery and active pharma intermediate integration, case study with first indigenous isobutyl benzene process technology. Over to you, Karthik.
Very good morning to the session chair, my friends on dais, and industry seniors and respectable members of the oil industry fraternity of the dais. So myself, Karthik R. I am from MRPL Innovation Center, and I'm going to present about one of the innovations which we carried out and which we have developed for quite a period of time. And refinery pharma integration is a concept which we have come back, worked out about 7 years before. As refinery is undergoing transition, multiple refineries are following a lot of strategies, maybe into biofuels, some into batteries and EVs. Being a single location refinery with a 15 million capacity and young actually nascent R&D, we worked out our strategy. Our R&D strategy is broadly into two focus areas. One on actually digital innovations. Especially we are developing our own proprietary AI and first principle hybrid models to improve the refinery performance, be it in terms of operation or in reliability. The ultimate idea is to improve the refinery's productivity. We call it as REVEAL, Refinery Efficiency and Value Enhancement with Analytical Lens. Already a lot of products have been developed, deployed in closed loop, and we have won close to 2 innovation awards on those areas. And again, this is one part of our strategy, whereas the other one is on futuristic process technology. We focus on molecule valorization to valuable products, considering scope 2, scope 3 emissions in future. We focused on pharma products because ultimately they are consumed and they don't have any scope 3 emissions also with them. So that is one of the key driver for us to venture into it. Other than that, energy improvement in the existing process through process intensification and future technologies like CCUS. Especially our strategy is through depolymerization. We don't want to do pyrolysis and produce again fuels, which again causes scope 3 emissions. So CCUS and plastic circularity along with biofuel like SAF. These are the areas which we are focusing on process technology portfolio. So with this background, just small about our small R&D which has, for the last 8 years in the existence, we have already got 34 patents, out of which 4 are international, and we have commercialized close to 6 innovations, and we got 4 innovation award back to back for the last consecutive 4 years, including this year. Thank you very much. So just actually coming to the main topic. Active pharma intermediates. There are two main concerns why we have to actually focus on this technologies. One, because before COVID we had a geopolitical issue with our neighbor, and we had a lot of actually issue on securing critical pharma raw materials, key starting raw materials for our country. In fact, though we started way back in 2017-18 working out our strategy, what all we have to get into, government realized this, and in parallel about 21st of July 2020, government themselves have given an incentive to work on actually key pharma intermediates. 4 different process routes are there if you take a pharma products. One are from, 2 of them are from actually chemical route. If you look at, they are either based on actually synthesis based APIs or other chemical routes, and other 2 are broadly based on fermentation route, mainly from niche APIs or a general API through fermentation route. So the best thing about pharma is they are of very, very high margin yielding products compared to refinery biofuels or refinery petrochemicals or fuels for that matter of fact from fossil fuel. But they are of very low market. For example, a world scale actually pharma, the biggest pharma by terms of volume may be 100 KTPA, that is paracetamol. So other rest are all products are all in the range of 10 KT, 20 KT, that is enough to suffice the world demand, because pharma products are typically prescribed in few milligrams per consumer. So being a small refinery in terms of market share, single location refinery. This well suited our strategy to produce. Margin is less, and for us to scale up and commercialize compared to bigger volume plants, this is easy for us. That's one of the key driver for us to get into this area. And the first product which we are in a very advanced stage of commercialization is isobutyl benzene. Isobutyl benzene is a key intermediate to produce brufene. If we acetylize isobutyl benzene, it becomes brufene. It's just one step away from making brufene. So the process chemistry is like toluene plus propylene reacts in the presence of a catalyst to become isobutyl benzene, which is typically like 80%, and normal butyl benzene, which is a side product, typically around 20%. And this is an analgesic, non-steroidal and anti-inflammatory mud. That is the brufene which is produced from it. Most of you are aware, in short, in a plain language, this is a painkiller and a fever medicine. So this technology development underwent a lot of actually stages from the inception. Proof of concept we have done in collaboration with CSIR National Chemical Laboratory, Pune. Subsequently, all the activities are being carried out by our own innovation center team. So why IBB technology is today not available is it is closely guarded. Most of the pharma technology are closely guarded, and even who have technology, it's a very, very nascent laboratory scale, they have a chemistry. It is not like our package which you get for established refining technologies. So we have to develop the technology to commercialize. This is one of the main entry barriers to get into a pharma technology. So closely guarded, and as I said earlier, entry access is the barrier of technology. And we developed, as I said earlier, way back in 2019 with the help of NCL Pune in a collaborative mode. It's true collaboration. Half of the experiment happened in our site, where other half happened in Pune. And we were sharing the best of both, and we were developing the technology. After that, we underwent a mini pilot scale, wherein actually rigorous reaction engineering studies, including the type of reactor, configuration of the reactor, all have happened in 2020. And right now, there was a COVID period in between for 2 years. We couldn't do anything, but subsequently we developed the whole engineering package, everything for our demo plant. And right now the plant is almost mechanically complete. After this event, it will undergo startup and pre-commissioning activities. And we expect the commercial scale plant to happen in a period of about 2 years. So we are right now at actually technology readiness level of about TRL 6 to TRL 7, and we want to attain TRL 9 within a period of 2 to 2.5 years. So right now, as I told earlier, we are in the process of demo plant. So what is the necessity of demo plant is, including some people call it as a smaller scale as a pilot plant. At this stage, we take the critical inputs based on extended evaluation for scale up, especially things like evaluation of, say, 2 or 3 reactor configuration, be it be a plug flow reactor or a stirred tank reactor or a slurry bubble column reactor or a ebullated bed reactor. This particular reactor evaluation from whatever we have zeroed in from mini pellet stage, this stage happens, the evaluation productivity of the type of reactor happens, along with the catalyst, extended handling of the catalyst. The problem with actually, if there is a catalyst is giving or extended run operation, if there is a problem, we will come to know at this stage, including recycle of unconverted products or unconverted the reactant themselves and their impact on the overall actually process productivity, along with if we have a different strategies to pre-treat the feed. Those actually evaluation of different configurations, and of course, being a pharma product, we have to demonstrate the requirement of market to 99.99% purity here. Here, not only purity is an important parameter, pharma even specify the impurities level also. Certain PPB levels of co-boiling components have been specified as a impurity, which is very difficult to get from conventional separation techniques. So all those techniques which we evaluate, which we are engineering, that will be evaluated at this stage. And this plant will serve post-commercialization. If there is an issue in the plant for troubleshooting, this will also act like a pilot or a demo scale plant for a subsequent level. This investment will not go futile. So this is the plant which is right now, the left side of the plant shows under erection in around May or June, whereas the right side photo shows the plant almost complete. This is constructed within the refinery itself. It is not in any R&D premises. This is all specifications as well as the safety for a refinery level requirement has been complied with. This is just nearby our GOAT unit, and the propylene is directly tapped off, and the feed, the toluene actually rich C7 stream is also tapped off from refinery. So live for about close to a period of two years, we will be doing an operation. We will be testing all sort of impurities, all sort of variations this plant will see. So we'll get a very good grip. We will demonstrate the technology also to the market, our capability to produce a pharma grade product. And this whole technology, entire process package has been developed by MRPL Innovation Center, by ourselves. And this package has been given to a LSTK vendor who have actually did a detail engineering, construction and erection at site. And about close to 75 crores we have spent from the inception on this technology. We have got a lot of support from our senior management and our directors for this technology development. I would say, if you barring COVID period, we took about 3.5 years to come to this stage. So I would proudly say this is one of the fastest project in the industry today to come to a demo scale, and very soon we will be commercializing this. And this is a broad schema. I cannot go into the detail. We have a catalyst preparation system, reactor system, catalyst deactivation, and kind of product separation, multiple distillation followed by other techniques. This is a broad schema. And this is how MRPL's actually overall process flow diagram will look like post commercialization of our technology. We are adding, first time we are venturing into a pharma actually portfolio, and we have many in the pipeline. In a period of about a year or two, demo plant which is required for paracetamol production, para-aminophenol, that is in progress. Similarly, salicylic acid for aspirin, which is required for medication of cardiovascular issues, that is also under very advanced stage for a demo plant. Others like catechol, resorcinol, aniline, all of these products we already have, we secured patent. We already conducted mini pilot plant level studies, and right now demo plant actually engineering is in progress. So with this, we may be probably the only refinery or the first refinery in the world who have a refinery pharma integration, which is very, very important for the nation, as well as it's a very good margin addition portfolio, and we wish to secure our future for sustainability through this sort of actually one of the portfolio for our refinery through this line of products. I thank CHTA as well as our management for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much. We'll be happy to answer the question as the time permits. Thank you.
Thank you, Karthik. I think we'll take the questions at the end. I request everyone to keep your questions we can address together. And good that he finished ahead of time. Thank you once again. So I would call the next speaker of this session, Mr. Sanjay Lakshman, who will be talking about indigenous technology for solvent, HPDAK. Over to you, Sanjay.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, sir. Respected chairperson, fellow speakers on the dais, and all the delegates who have come from different parts of the industry. So today, I'm deeply honored to be presenting about HPDAK in ETM 2025. So I'm Sanjay Lakshman. I am currently serving as an assistant manager at Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited, Mumbai Refinery. So let's dive into the topic. So I am here to talk about indigenous technology for solvents, HPDAK, which is developed by Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited, R&D Center and Mumbai Refinery. So let's discuss the various topics that we are going to discuss today. So we'll be talking about de-aromatic solvents, the market needs and demands in the Indian scenario, the various technology overview regarding the R&D development, the implementation of the plant at HPMR. Then we'll be discussing about the various results, the construction phases, the challenges that we have faced in implementation of the product, the current scenario, where we are heading to, and what is the future outlook that HPCL is aiming for. So a quick overview of HPCL. So we have a legacy of over 100 years a Maharatna company. So HPCL was formed in 1974 after an agglomeration of SO and Lube India Limited. So in 2019, we have received Maharatna status. So as I come from the refining division, so we fully own 2 refineries, one in the East Coast and West Coast, with a slated capacity of around 23 mmKTP. So quick introduction about solvents. Solvents, as we know, form the backbone of all the industries, may it be the solvents for pharmaceuticals, metal-based drilling solvents. So what is the need for de-aromatized solvents? So if you look into the conventional solvents that are being used, so it is generally with higher aromatic content, which has great implications to environmental and health risks. So we are aiming for de-aromatic solvents, which we are removing aromatic content from the solvents, which finds use in with the current stringent requirements for environmental and safety concerns. So de-aromatic solvents, as we call them, D-solvents. So aromatic contents will be very less for this kind of solvents, and it is finding use in different sectors. So paint and industry, cosmetic industry, metalworking solvents for drilling solvents that is being used. So aerosol sprays, pesticides, and various other industries which comprise about 20% of the needs. So looking at the market scenario, the Indian requirement for as of 2025 is about 94 KTPA, and we are producing almost around 40 KTPA of de-aromatic solvents every year. So rest of the requirements of the market are being met through imports. So, and this is expected to rise to about 200 KTPA by 2050. So the demand is increasing and is expected to grow over the years. So it is very crucial that we start indigenously producing de-aromatic solvents to meet the market demands and reduce the imports, and as we move towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. So it is just a comparative chart of aromatic and de-aromatic solvents. As I've already discussed, it is more concerned towards the health risk associated with aromatic solvents and the environmental implications that it has. So de-aromatic solvents is far superior with respect to that, and will help us mitigate all these issues altogether. So regarding the technology overview, a very detailed study was conducted based on the different feedstock that are available in the refinery. They have did an extensive research at SPCL R&D Center and identified various feedstock that can be used for the production of de-aromatic solvents. And finally, they have come up with the use of light diesel oil from an lube isodewaxing unit, which is a part of lube refining block at HPCL MR. So the feedstock we are currently dealing with are three types. One is 150 Neutral, 500 Neutral, SPO. These are various stocks associated with lube oil base stock based on the viscosity ranges that they have distilled. Then we are currently using a fixed bed hydrogenation reactor, currently employing a nickel-based catalyst. The unit is designed for 2 different kinds of catalyst, nickel-based and platinum-based catalyst, which is currently under development. So this is a quick process flow diagram for the DAK unit. We have a guard bed reactor for the removal of any sulfur poison for the catalyst. Then the reactor, then there is a fractionation section. So we are currently looking into the production of 2 major solvents, solvent 1 and solvent 2, with the specified viscosity and boiling point ranges. So the capacity of the plant is 52 KTPA, which roughly about 8 meter cube per hour is the feed rate for the plant. So the DAK project, as I've already mentioned, is a combined effort of HPCL R&D and HPCL MR, which is indigenously developed. So the detail engineering, the construction, and everything has been done by the Central Engineering Services Division of the Mumbai Refinery, and commissioning was done by Mumbai Refinery Operations team. So these are the various images which is taken as a part of the construction. So As the plant is set up at HPCL Mumbai refinery, as you all know, Mumbai, the major constraint is space. So the current plant is being set up at an old demolished area, which is a vertically mounted plant in a 550 meter square area and almost a height of 51 meters. So these are the major equipments that are installed in the plant. So as I've already mentioned, all the reactor internals and major equipments are designed by the HPCL R&D Center. So, and regarding the heating of the solvents that are required for achieving the desired reaction, that is done through electrical heaters, which also helps us in a major upfront in the environmental concerns. There is no release of any gases to the atmosphere, so it is also eco-friendly. We have all set up in a very small area, so that already reduces the constraints regarding space. So regarding some major highlights about the commissioning activities, the commissioning, we have had 0 incidents while commissioning of the plant. Major issues regarding the water availability for the hydro test of all the lines and equipments have been done quite judiciously by proper water saving. And then we have had extensive pressure testing of all the associated lines and equipment safely carried out within the safety norms. So looking into the environmental economic performances, as I've already mentioned, electric heaters have been employed in the plant. So that reduces CO2 and other emissions into the atmosphere, which is a major friend in the environmental regulators. Heat integration and high hydrogen utilization minimized. There is no compressors. So the hydrogen requirement of the plant is met through the ISO dewaxing unit hydrogen compressor. So the requirement is about 1:60. For every 1 meter cube of the feed, 60 kg per hour of hydrogen is being used. So there is no power consumption on that front, as it utilizes the already existing compressors. So these are look into the major performances that we have achieved through DAK Solvent 1 and Solvent 2. So we have been able to consistently achieve aniline point over 70, flash points above 100 degrees Celsius, and viscosity ranges for the current market demand ranging from 2 to 3 CST for Solvent 1. And for Solvent 2, similarly, aniline point have been consistently above 75. Boiling point ranges from 280 to 330. We have been consistently able to produce products about flash point of 130 degrees Celsius. And regarding kinematic viscosity, the current range is around 4 to 6 CST as per the market demands. So these are the major highlights of the, as I've already discussed. And regarding margin upgradation, so if you look into the plan layout, there is a diesel stream which comprises about 8 to 10% of the total feed. So regarding the market demand, we have been able to identify this diesel stream can be blended into Solvent 1 and Solvent 2. And after discussion with the marketing team, we have been able to successfully do that. And that has enabled us to increase the total production to around 38 KTPA for a 52 KTPA plant. So that has substantially increased the yield from 60 to 70%. So that has contributed to the increase in margins. So this is an internal circulation. So we have been able to successfully commission the plant within the team. So it is a combined team effort of HPCL Mumbai Refinery and HPCL R&D Center. And it is a goal towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. So we have been able to indigenously develop and successfully complete the execution and run the plant without any major hiccups. So there are some key learnings of the implementation process that I've already discussed. So the future outlook. So as I've already mentioned, it is a 52 KTA plant, so we are currently in the implementation of a 200 KTPA plant at Vizag refinery. So we are judiciously looking for opportunities for scale up and licensing of the catalysts that are being developed at the R&D center. So thank you so much. I thank CST for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjay. It was a very good, interesting session to learn how HPCL is valorizing some of the potential available as specialized solvent, including dearomatized kerosene. So, moving to the next speaker, I request Mr. Harpreet Singh from IOCL, talking about manufacturing of sulfur bentonite. Over to you, Harpreet.
Good morning, eminent speakers on the dais and the delegates coming from the various industries. I welcome you all. Coming to my topic, I am given this opportunity. I thank CST team and IOCL management for giving me this opportunity to present my innovation of manufacturing of a sulfur bentonite, a specialty product which is made from the refinery sulfur stream. So as we start, when we say that the sulfur is not like a fertilizer product. It is a byproduct from the refineries, and as we all have the sulfur recovery unit, so sulfur disposal and sulfur management is always a challenge to all the refineries. So now as we speak of the innovations, and we heard a lot of sessions about the refinery integrations coming up with the petrochemicals to the pharma. So we have taken this opportunity to take integration with the fertilizer. So we have taken this sulfur as a product, as a feed for the fertilizer product, as a sulfur bentonite. So now, when we say the sulfur is one of the essential nutrients for the plants. So this is a quick view about the sulfur cycle, how the sulfur is coming from the ground. It is coming as a crude oil, then through these industrial applications, we are taking it out into the atmosphere, and then again recycling back into the ground, which is required for the plants. So as we can see, this fertilizer product, this fertilizer, either we use it as an organic sulfur or the inorganic fertilizer sulfur, which we used as a sulfur-based fertilizer product. Talking a little bit about the sulfur bentonite, what this sulfur bentonite is. Sulfur bentonite is a specialty product which adds 90% of sulfur with a 10% of bentonite clay, while adding some micronutrients such as sodium, magnesium, potassium based, which are essential for these plant nutrients. So it is a source for the plant nutrient and acts as a soil amendment. It is recommended in almost all crops, let it be oil seeds, let it be crops, cereals, fruits. So it finds its all applications in all the plants. As I said that it improves soil alkalinity, it is acting as a nutrient for the plant health, just like as us, plant also needs some nutrients. So that is what it is meeting these demands. So what it does, it improves the crop yield, it gives a good crop quality to the farmers, and as well as it is economic. So this bentonite clay as a raw feed, it is readily available in India. So this gives an advantage to make the sulfur bentonite product in India also. Then a question comes, why not we use as a sulfur as a fertilizer directly? Why don't I spray it directly on the ground? So this picture speaks a lot. So sulfur, just like any other nutrients, N, P, K, this is the fourth essential nutrient for the plant. The sulfur bentonite is readily dissolvable in the plant's roots in couple of hours. So as the bentonite clay, it absorbs the moisture while we make the application in the fields. It absorbs the moisture from the soil. It granules, swells, and break apart the sulfur molecules, thereby releasing the sulfur particles into smaller parts, which allows it to expose to the sulfur oxidizing bacteria present in the ground soil, while helping the plant to reach the sulfur nutrient to the plant roots. So it gives a more exposure to the plant roots for the oxidation. And as I said, this sulfur bentonite, it is already using in the European, USA, Europe market. They are not using the sulfur as a direct. They are now adopting the sulfur bentonite. A little bit about the global market size, how this product can be a beneficial. So as we can see in the various market research reports, the FMI, the sulfur bentonite, other market reports, they have predicted a growth over the period of time because we are increasing the crops, because of the population, we have to meet the agricultural needs. So we have found that this is like a CAGR of 5% with the forecast period of 2025 to 35. We are finding a continuously rising upward trend. The global business stands now in 25 at around $30 million US, and it is projected to grow up to $364 million by 2035 with an approximate CAGR of 5% plus. So this significant growth, it is driven by the strong demand in the crop segment, including this oilseeds, cereals, fruits, and other applications also. So this makes it a very good opportunity to make a product considering this global market. India is not less behind. India is also utilizing this opportunity, and where India stands on this platform. So Indian sulfur market is also valued at around $17 million in 23 and is projected to reach around 33 million by 2033, and India has an impressive growth of around 5.6 CAGR. By application, we have already said that this dominates during the forecast period due to various applications, and the growing concerns in the balanced plant nutrition, because we are focusing more on the agriculture sector, we are taking out the nutrients, and a study report says that India's 40% segment is deprived of the sulfur. So this gives an opportunity to increase the sulfur nutrient in this particular product with the use of sulfur bentonite, which will create the traction in the market. India is also one of the leading importer. As I say that the sulfur bentonite has its very limited players in India, apart from Deepak Fertilizers, NFL, Coromandel. Only a few players are in India which are making this particular product. So most of the product, it is right now imported from the Middle East, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Oman. So we are importing. Despite domestic shortfall, we have to import this product. And to make it a more lucrative, the profit-bearing strategies of the government, they are helping it out to grow, to make this product in India and reduce the dependency of the import. So these various figures, as we can see, these are like in the rising upward trend. From, as we can see, from the 2018 to 22, it is reaching up from the 12 million to 16 million. And then again from the 2023 to 33, we will find the rising upward trend only. So we find that this has an upward trajectory only in terms of the growth. We can see in the various countries that India is leading this domestic growth. India stands tall at 5.6%, followed by China, Brazil, Turkey, US. So you will find that as the countries are adopting this agricultural trend, so we will find that this particular segment for the sulfur bentonite market is in the growth trend, and which dominates in the oil and seed section. We can see the major pie chart representing almost 45% in the oil and seeds alone section, in addition to cereals, fruits, plantation, and other crops. So oil and seeds play a major part in the sulfur-based requirement. We will just see a typical process, how this sulfur bentonite process is made. So we will find that there is a vessel where we dose the bentonite clay at the top, along with the micronutrients, and the sulfur, molten sulfur, is pumped through the pit. We will take it in a vessel. We will uniformly mix these two components, which are the prime components, and then prepare a batch in around 2 hours. We pump it out to the second vessel, where we will further pump it out to the rotoformer, a rotating belt, a steel belt, where we will spray this mixture of sulfur and bentonite in a fine molecules, which will be sprayed at one end, and there is a cooling water circulation going along. So as the belt moves along the belt, so we will find this product getting solidified, and these are taking it out on the other end, and we are taking it in the silos for the further storage and transportation requirements. So in line with this, we at IOCL Gujarat Refinery has tapped this opportunity to make this product in-house. So I'll give you a quick view how we achieved this product, making all the components in-house only. So this I have already covered. I will not go much into this. So we have taken this sulfur disposal as an alternate form in the form of fertilizer. while we are already making some products like wet sulfuric acid as a fertilizer in Haldia refinery. So we are looking new segments for the sulfur disposal. So this all thing, the detail engineering, this idea demonstration, all this done was in-house, and we were appreciated in this idea mela, which was facilitated by our chairman, appreciating this idea. So whatever the components, this will require a mixing vessel, an agitator to uniformly mix bentonite and clay and the molten sulfur. This filter, the filter is required, the pumps, the jacketed piping, the rotoformer, the major component is the rotoformer, which will give me the product in a uniform shape. So all this, when it was anticipated as a LSTK project, it was coming to be around 626 lakhs. But in-house, we did all this engineering, the IOCL engineers did it all at a mere cost of 66 lakhs only, with the breakup cost we can see over here. This picture speaks a lot. So there was a redundant vessel. We have utilized this vessel to modify it according to our need. We did a dome welding. We did a lot. We made new nozzles. We customized this vessel according to our needs because this is a jacketed vessel. This vessel was fabricated again, hydro-tested, and made it suitable for the sulfur-based service. The agitator, one of the agitator, it was taken up from our PTA plant in Panipat. So this was got idle in the Panipat refinery PTA revamp. So we have utilized this agitator, which is used at the vessel top for mixing. So we will see that this shaft length, it was revised from 1.7 meters to 3 meters. The wet seal was missing. The number of blades was also limited. So we have modified this agitator based on our requirements for new requirements. So you will find in these pictures that we have added new carbon bush. We have given number of blades was increased. So all this thermosiphon seal, wet seal was arranged based on the API requirements. So we have modified all these equipments in-house, utilizing in-house talent. A filter is required to separate out the hard particles so that it may not go into the steel belt. So this filter was customized accordingly. The filter belt elements, these filter elements was taken, and this vessel was fabricated in-house with the dimensions for our need. Then coming up to this pump was like IFO pump, IFO screw pump. So we have configured it to the slurry service. So pump bearings and seals was replaced for the new requirement for the slurry service, because molten sulfur is a clean service, and while we are adding the bentonite, so it becomes a slurry service. Then the jacketed casing was put on with the modified service, and the base, motor base was refabricated. And as we can see in the picture, this neck pump was then given new set of jacketing and made it according to the new requirements. Then, as we know that in the sulfur plants, we need the jacketed piping for keeping it in the heat condition. So this jacketing requirement was taken up by this cross flanges. This 12-inch dia and 480 running meters of this welding was done in-house, and all jacketed and cross tees flanges, they were fabricated in-house to meet the various requirements for all the piping for this pilot scale plant in-house. So some part of the rotoformer tuning was required. So we did a little changes in the rotoformer part also. We have customized a new metering bar, new spray nozzles, some bushes was changed inside the rotoformer. So while in consultation with the rotoformer vendor, we have taken this new internals from the Germany and customized it for this sulfur bentonite service. So while making some rotoformer tuning, we have achieved this product. As we can see, the yellow part is the sulfur pellets, and the brownish appearance, it is given because of sulfur bentonite, the bentonite clay. So from the sulfur to sulfur bentonite, we have achieved this as a product, while meeting the FCO guidelines. The FCO 1985 guidelines specifies for the moisture, shape, size, and the quality of the product. So we have achieved all these conditions, meeting the product quality standards of the market. So this fertilizer specialty product, this product, as I said, that this is being imported from Middle East countries, and these are the various companies which are like importing it from the Middle East because of the abundant sulfur supply in the Middle East. And these are the companies which are benefiting already in the India due to this import. They are selling it with their trade name. And as I said, that there are only limited players in the India for making of this product. So all these companies, they are like benefiting already from this product, and we are also in this now race for this sulfur bentonite product as a fertilizer.
Harpreet.
A brief about the analysis, how this product is benefit. Okay. So as I quickly wind up, this product has a huge potential. The product pricing is good enough. The raw feeds, bentonite clay, and the sulfur is our in-house. So we are finding it a lucrative with the MIR above 18%, which will make a lucrative investment. So in the end, I will wind it up and give a 1-minute video which will cover up all.
Oil proudly enters the agrochemical sector with sulfur bentonite, a nutrient that boosts soil health. Indian Oil leads the way by becoming the first oil marketing PSU to venture into this segment. This specialty product blends 90% sulfur with 10% bentonite clay. Sulfur bentonite improves soil health, enhances fertilizer efficiency, reduces soil alkalinity, and boosts crop yield and quality. Currently produced at our Gujarat refinery, it will be marketed through IFCO. The Indian market demand for sulfur bentonite is around 80 TMT per year, and Gujarat refinery currently produces 2 TMT annually, with potential to scale up to 25 TMT based on demand. With sulfur bentonite, Indian Oil brings prosperity to farmers across India. Sulfur bentonite, a specialty product from Indian Oil.
Thank you, sir. This was all from me.
Thank you, Harpreet. This was very interesting session in the sense that it is finding new market for an existing product, and also the ingenuity in reducing the project cost from the original to almost 10% of that. So special applause to Indian Oil team. So there is another presentation from Indian Oil R&D about indigenous refining catalyst manufacturing for self-reliance. So over to you, Ms. Yamini Gupta.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm good morning to all of you. I'm Yamini Gupta from IOCL R&D Center. And on behalf of IOCL, I will be presenting the journey of Indian Oil for indigenization of refining catalyst and how it has been supporting the idea of Viksit Bharat. This is the customary disclaimer. Moving forward, this is how I have structured my presentation. We will start with the why of it. Why do we want to be in this business? And then I will try to answer some questions of what and how we are doing it. I'll be presenting some case studies of commercial application of Indian Oil catalysts. And then I will come up to catalyst manufacturing unit, which kind of has been a major milestone in the indigenization journey of IOCL. The first question, why? So what are the imperatives for development of refining catalysts? We know that the importance of catalyst in refining sector, it cannot be overemphasized. Catalyst is what makes a process profitable in terms of achieving the required conversion. And it also makes the process profitable by enabling the refiner to be selective towards the desired product. If we look in terms of numbers, the catalyst market worldwide is estimated at close to 10 billion in 2025. And it has been driven in an increasing trend by the major drivers that are increasing demand for fuels, stricter environment norms, and ever-evolving refining configuration, which are also have been driven because of profitability and market demands. So if we look in the future perspective, In the next 10 years, it is estimated, the catalyst business, it is estimated to increase 1.5 times and reaching close to 16 billion USD with a growth rate of 4.6%. To put things into Indian perspective, let's come closer to the Indian market and talk about Asia Pacific. Asia Pacific, it holds close to 40% of market share in terms of refining catalyst. And coming to the Indian scenario, in India itself, the catalyst market, it is estimated to be close to 1.4 billion USD with a growth rate higher than the global average. And the growth rate is estimated around just below 6%. Now, how does IOCL feature here? IOCL has been into the business of catalyst deployment for more than a decade. We are a refining company, which is also, we also understand catalyst. So with us, you have an opportunity to leverage our catalyst know-how to bring the best out of your units. We can provide customized catalysts for your requirement. We understand what an Indian refiner needs, and we also understand what are the constraints you are working with. So we can provide you a customized solutions for your requirements. We can give you flexibility in terms of feed processing, product slate selection, and we can also give you efficient process in terms of energy efficiency and also in terms of environment mandates. How we are doing this? In IOCL, the R&D center, it is situated in Faridabad in NCR region, and we have a focused group working on catalyst research. We are working on catalyst and also on catalytic material. We have state-of-the-art facilities, starting from lab development in catalyst design. We have facilities for lab catalyst screening, moving on to lab scale-up, pilot plant evaluation for performance evaluation, scale-up, and commercial manufacture and deployment. We have a dedicated team working for commercial deployment, which will help you with the commissioning, catalyst changeover, and we also have a group which is working on unit optimization, which will help you bring the most out of your unit. This is the catalyst portfolio that we have to offer. I will not go to each product basket in detail here because I have subsequent slides, but I will just sum up by saying that FCC and hydroprocessing application, which form the major volume of catalysts in a refining scenario, we have solution for each and every requirement of Indian refiners, starting from FCC-based catalyst, additives, and in hydroprocessing applications, we have catalysts that can help you in middle distillate hydrotreating, kerosene, naphtha hydrotreating, and for cracked gasoline upgradation, and even for specialty products. I have a few case studies. So this first case study is for one of our flagship catalyst series, Indicat Prime, in which we worked with Indian Oil Northeast refinery, wherein they wanted to make a transition from BS4 production to BS6 diesel production. So we offered our catalyst from this Indicat Prime series, which helped them produce ultra-low sulfur diesel, and they could smoothly do the transition from BS4 to BS6. This catalyst, it has a very high HDS, HDN, and HDA activity, which gives good volume swells, and the catalyst successfully completed the entire catalyst life, and I have a plot here showing the stability of the catalyst in terms of product, diesel product sulfur, and you would also appreciate the low deactivation rate that the catalyst has achieved. And yes, for this previous slide, I would also like to mention that the catalyst has been deployed in a bigger unit, and it is in commercial operation in second unit, and it can process up to 60% cracked feedstock. The next in series, we have Indicat Flexi. It is the different catalyst that we have in this series. It is capable of naphtha hydrotreating, kerosene hydrotreating, and also for ATF production. It is very selective towards the removal of mercaptans, which you know is the major sulfur contributor in these kind of streams. It has a low severity operation and has very low hydrogen consumption. So the case study that I would like to present here is we have deployed it in 3 different Indian refineries. The first refinery, they wanted to maximize the MS pool. And for that, they have the quality upgradation unit had an ISOM unit which was being fed through an NHT unit. And they wanted to have a consistent catalyst which would give a very consistent low sulfur, less than 0.5 ppm sulfur to feed into the isomerization unit. You can see the performance of the unit here. And you can also see that the catalyst is very robust. Even with any fluctuation in the feed properties, the catalyst has regained its activity. And they have been running the unit above design throughput, and the catalyst has been performing very consistently throughout the cycle time. The other two refineries, they have deployed it for production of kerosene, which they have been using as a plug, as a pipeline compatible kerosene. And another unit is using it for ATF production, which has helped them to do away with the caustic treatment unit for ATF production. The next that I would like to present is InSelect Catalyst, which is a catalyst for upgradation of cracked feedstock, basically FCC and coker gasoline. So here we worked with a Northeast refinery wherein they wanted to utilize the coker gasoline into their MS pool. So we provided them with a configuration wherein the LCN of coker gasoline could be desulfurized along with the FCC gasoline to produce LCN with very low sulfur, ultra low sulfur gasoline, and RON in the range of 95 to 97. This helped them to use coker gasoline in the MS pool. Coker gasoline, as you know, is a very low value stream, and if it can be utilized in the MS pool, then this is a very good situation for refiners. Plus, they could also reduce the external reformate that they were blending for MS RON achievement. This catalyst is a very specified catalyst which has a multifunctional feature. It can convert the low boiling sulfur to high boiling sulfur, giving you low sulfur, high RON LCN. It is very selective towards diolefin saturation, whereby the hydrogen consumption is very low. And as you can see, the refinery has been consistently operating with diolefin and sulfur almost 1.5 times the design values, and we have been consistently achieving better than guaranteed values in terms of LCN sulfur and diolefins. Now I will come to some of the applications that we have in for FCC applications. So how much time do I have? 5 minutes, okay. So we have, for FCC application, we have FCC catalyst and additives for maximization of LPG and gasoline. We have the IMAX series additives, which can maximize LPG and gasoline, and it will give you gasoline with a higher octane number. We have already deployed more than 20,000 metric ton of additive in all over Indian refineries. We have IMAX Octa Plus, which increases the octane tonnage of the gasoline. We have RUA, or the residue upgradation additive, which upgrades the bottom heavy feed in the FCC feed. We have EcoMax, which is the CO promoter. It can achieve CO conversion of up to greater than 98%. And then we have the FCC catalyst, which is Lotus. Here I would like to present a case study for INDMAX catalyst deployment. As you know, Indian Oil has a flagship technology of INDMAX for higher yields of LPG and light olefins. The refiner wanted to maximize ethylene and propylene yields in the unit. So we customized the catalyst for the particular refinery, and it is a classic example for how the process parameters and the hardware and catalyst, they work in synergy to give the maximum output from a unit. So we explored a new genre of catalyst design as per the refinery requirement, and we have achieved propylene and ethylene as per the refinery requirements. Okay, so now I would like to come to the main part of my presentation, which is the catalyst manufacturing unit. It has been a landmark step in the indigenization journey of IOCL. It kind of sums up and brings it to a full circle to our indigenization efforts. The unit was commissioned in January 2024, and since then it has been in continuous operation. The unit can produce, has the capability to produce FCC catalyst additives and hydroprocessing catalysts. And this is a very good example of entirely indigenously developed unit, because the catalyst recipes that are being manufactured in this unit, they are based on indigenously developed catalyst recipes. And the basic design and engineering was also done in-house by IOCL. Apart from that, the detail engineering and most of the equipments that are being used in the catalyst manufacture have been procured through domestic vendors. And we also understand that we need to have a raw material infrastructure around us. So most of the raw materials are also being brought in from indigenous suppliers. This unit is catering to the captive consumption of IOCL refineries. And this is a perfect opportunity to leverage the catalyst know-how for improving the refinery margins of a refinery. Briefly about the plant configuration. The plant is designed to produce 1,000 metric ton per annum of hydroprocessing catalyst and 500 metric ton per annum of FCC catalyst. We understand that raw material quality is key to the catalyst performance. So we have backward integrated the unit with key raw materials, that is alumina for DHDT catalyst production and ZSM-5 zeolite for FCC additive production. We have facility for in-house production for alumina and ZSM-5 additive. The unit also has a dedicated quality control lab, wherein every lot that is produced in the unit, it goes through very stringent quality checks as per the SOPs developed by R&D. And apart from QC, the lot-wise performance evaluation is also done at our pilot plant. And the plot that you see on the right side of the presentation, it shows the lot-wise, lot size-wise scalability of the hydroprocessing units. We started with 1 metric ton lot, and we studied the performance of the catalyst in terms of desulfurization, dearomatization, and denitrogenation. And the study was continued from 1 metric ton to a lot of 80 metric ton. You can see that we have achieved very good scalability in terms of performance of the catalyst. Yes, I'll conclude. Same, you can see that all the QC critical parameters have been maintained within the very stringent quality control window. And we also had a performance test run of the CMU FCC additive that was supplied at one of the RFCC units. And I'm happy to tell you that the performance of the FCC additive has met beyond the expectations of the refineries. Yes, sir. These are the achievements. Through our licensing partner, we have already sold total more than 23,000 metric ton. And through CMU, we have supplied already 200 metric ton of FCC catalyst additive and around 270 metric ton of DHDT catalyst. In next 5 years, we are envisaging that we will be supplying around close to 7,000 metric ton of catalyst plus additive. We have developed a raw material ecosystem in this with the domestic suppliers, and close to 85% of the raw material that is being used in the manufacture is being sourced from local manufacturers. And we are already producing RFCC additive, DHDT catalyst for naphtha hydrotreating, kerosene hydrotreating, and we want to improve our technological competitiveness to reach wider market. Now I will just sum up this presentation, and the idea I want to give you is that IOCL is a refinery, and we are also catalyst deployers. We know what a refinery works and wants and what are the constraints you're working with, and we can provide you customized solutions to your requirements. With this CMU, we have kind of brought to a full circle the indigenization journey of IOCL. And Indian Oil has emerged as the only refining company in India having end-to-end solution for catalyst solutions. CMU has established the potential of proprietary catalyst manufacturing based on proprietary catalyst know-how. And in the opening plenary sessions, it was said that think big, but start small. Yes, it is a major leap towards indigenization, but right now we are catering to IOCL captive consumption, and we are looking for avenues for capacity expansion for wider application. Thank you. And with this, I would like to thank all of you for your keen listening, and my fellow panelists and the chairperson. And I would also want to put in a word of appreciation for our sister division, that is IOCL Refinery Division, which has been very much a part of this journey, and a special mention to IOCL Panipat, whose operational excellence has brought CMU to the point we are at now. Thank you.
Thank you, Yamini. As refiners, we are dependent on feedstock to a great extent, import, and catalysts also. It is heartening to know that the biggest Indian refiner has taken a serious step towards indigenization and manufacturing within the country. I hope all of us can also benefit. Compliments to the IOC team. Now coming to the next presenter, who will be talking about another Make in India success story, de-aromatized solvent production at BPCL Mumbai. I request Mr. Shubham Gupta to take.
A very good afternoon to Honorable Chairperson, eminent speakers on the dais, officials of CHT, and all the delegates present here. It feels rather good to have the concluding presentation of this mega event of Energy Technology Meet hosted by CHT. I'll be presenting on Driving Make in India initiative of BPCL Mumbai Refinery for the production of de-aromatized solvents at the Mumbai Refinery facility. So before proceeding with the presentation, a slight overview of the Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited as an organization. We stand the second largest oil marketing company with around 25.4% of market share in India. In terms of the refining capacity, put together all the refineries, we are contributing to around 14% of the India's refining capacity, and we are the sixth largest company as far as turnover is concerned. The outlook of BPCL in the world, in Fortune 500 we are 258, in Platts Global 250 we ranked 44 as per 2022 ranking, and we have a market capitalization of 1 lakh plus crores. We achieved a Maharatna status in 2017, and that has been sustained. So I'm working with Mumbai Refinery in Bharat Petroleum. So Mumbai Refinery has a design capacity of 12 MMTPA, and we have a crude portfolio of around 110 types of crudes. We are BS6 and IMO compliant, and the most peculiar aspect of the Mumbai Refinery is we are the lubes refinery. Now let's come to the de-aromatized solvents part. As far as the India's outlook is concerned for de-aromatized solvent, the annual demand currently is 110 TMT per annum as for 2025. With a CAGR of 5.9%, it is expected to grow to 130 TMT per annum in 2026. And currently, a lot of these products, we are dependent on the foreign players because we have a less production facility in India for these special solvents. Around 40% of this product we are importing from outside. So there is a dire need that these de-aromatized solvents are produced in the country so as to reduce the foreign dependencies and to make this quality solvents in the country itself. BPCL Mumbai Refinery started its journey for the production of de-aromatized solvents as a step towards making India and indigenization back in 2022, when we thought of producing the special grades 3 D40, D80 and D100 types of grades from the existing facility in refinery. So we already had a hydrofinishing reactor available with us, and with the available hydrocracker feed of light kero and light diesel, we thought of reducing the aromatics content and to produce this dearomatized solvents with the adjustment into the feed as well as the column conditions. So at that point in time, with a mere investment of 75 crores, by putting a fractionator column, we utilized the available light kero and light diesel streams from the hydrocracker unit, which has a sulfur content of less than 5 ppm and very less nitrogen. So that streams found to be very much suitable to pass through an existing hydrofinishing reactor to reduce the aromatics content for 10% to 0.03 weight% and to produce this dearomatized solvent with slight adjustments. And we were able to set up a unit of 20 TMT per annum of dearomatized solvents. So that phase 1 we have completed in 2023, and at that point in time, we became the India's first refinery to produce those dearomatized solvents and sell into the market. Now the journey doesn't stop there. We have thought of not only increasing the capacity from 20 KTPA to 200 KTPA, we also thought of increasing the portfolio of this dearomatized solvents. And now this project is under commissioning, and we are increasing the capacity from 20 to 200 KTPA, with increasing the portfolio from dearomatized solvents to light liquid paraffin oil, heavy liquid paraffin oil, and even the MAC-based light producing from this unit. This unit will have an approved estimate of around capex of around 470 crores. That will be a standalone unit having a separate hydrofinishing reactor and a separate train. And we are expecting the product out by December, end of this year. So in the phase 1, some of the key aspects of this project, we put up a divided wall column. That was the India's first dual wall divided column that we installed into the BPCL Mumbai refinery. This is the world's first and a state-of-art technology. And that helped us to reduce a lot of energy. And this is operating under vacuum. So a lot of energy we have saved. And with the diesel and kero stream, we were able to produce the 4 cuts with a lighter cut and 3 different grades of dearomatized solvents, which are D40, D80, and D100. The D40, D80, and D100 are categorized based on the flashpoint ranges of the products. This is how the unit looks like, which is existing, and we are producing around 20 KTPA from this unit. This, the long column which you are seeing, is the dual wall divided column operating under vacuum. This unit doesn't have a reactor because we utilized an existing hydrofinishing reactor capacity to produce these products. These are some of the storage tankages that has come along with the unit. Now this is how the unit works like. As I've told you, hydrocracker was an existing unit available with us, and we saw this opportunity of having this light kero and light diesel feed having a lower sulfur content, and we have used it into an existing hydrofinishing reactor. The existing kero and light diesel stream were having an aromatic content of around 10%, and with the existing hydrofinishing reactor, which is a platinum-based catalyst, we reduced this aromatics content design of 300 ppm, but we are currently producing close to 100 ppm of as low as aromatics of dearomatized solvents. This is a pictorial representation of a dual wall divided column, which is located there. This is the phase 2, in which the capacity we are increasing to 200 KTPA, which I have already told you it is at the very advanced stage of commissioning, and the product out is expected in the end of this year. Here, the product portfolio has increased from dearomatized solvents to HLPO and LLPO grades as well. So this unit licensed by the Chevron Lummus Global, with the detailed engineering by EIL, and a scheduled completion this February 26, but we are ahead of the target. This is a typical block diagram of how the unit works. We have an existing kero and light diesel streams that are going into a feed pump. It's a high pressure feed pump. This hydrofinishing unit is working at a system pressure of around 165 kilogram per centimeter square gauge. We have an hydrofinishing reactor that has a recycle gas circuit going to the separator, and then finally going to an existing divided wall column to produce these 4 cuts. These are some of the equipments portfolio, that how many equipments are coming along with this unit, 32 numbers, including a reactor, heat exchangers, separators, and column internals. So these are the quality of the products that we were producing. As I've told you, we have a design aromatic content of 300 ppm. And the sulfur, we are producing max of 5. We call as to be the LSLA solvents. The distillation ranges vary based on the product. And depending upon the type of the product, based on the market demand we need, we adjust the feed composition. Like for example, if we need a D40 more, I put up more amount of the kerosene into the reactor so that I'm getting more of D40 products. If the D40 demand is lower as per the market and we need more of D80, D100 and D130 products, then light diesel seems to be a probable stream, and we, with the help of this divided wall column, we make out the 3 cuts. Some of the broad applications of the dearomatized solvents. The DAS, the aerosols D40, D80 are majorly used in mosquito repellents, aerosols. We are also using into the metal working and paints industries. MBL, drilling oil applications, we are a major supplier to ONGC. HLPO, that is the heavy liquid paraffin oil, we are supplying it for the water treatment. LLPO grades have a very huge market into the cosmetics and pharma industries. So that's also we are producing. With this dearomatized solvents, the 4 major objectives that I have highlighted here, which are being achieved, is the Atmanirbhar initiative. The foreign dependencies are reducing, and the import substitution. It is a very good step towards the import substitution because the market demand is rising with a CAGR of 5.9%, which is too high. The projects will definitely generate an employment to the existing countrymen. Reducing of the foreign exchange, the calculation shows around 1,200 crores per year of the foreign exchange reduction is expected with this project. And the environmental benefits and health benefits, because the dearomatizations will reduce the carcinogenic emissions, and that is having an environmental and health impact too. This is how the 200 KTPA of DAS units, which is the biggest ever, commissioned in this year by BPCL Mumbai Refinery. This is how a 3D model looks like, and the project is almost at the stage of completion. That's all. Thank you for, if you want to see that how the project looks like, a holographic presentation of this project is also done at the pavilion of BPCL. That shows that how the BPCL Mumbai Refinery and BPCL as a corporation is engaging towards the Make in India move of Government of India. Thank you, CHT. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Shubham. That is another interesting success story. And I specifically congratulate each of the speakers for strictly, or in fact, maintaining good economy of time so that we can have a meaningful interaction now. So the floor is open. We can take a few questions. I request the questioner to identify himself and make the questions. Thank you. Let me see. If there are no questions, then I think I'll pass the mantle to MC here. Thank you.
It seems the presentations were self-explanatory and pretty well explained by the presenters, and we seem to have no question, or maybe they want to address them later during the informal networking sessions that will follow. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us here in the final technical session, and also this is the final session for ETM as well. So thank you, Chairperson, for conducting this session, and thank you to all our illustrious speakers for presenting their presentations. Can we have a louder applause for each one who presented their perspectives and the study and the innovation and the research that is going on in the industry. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, before we actually take a leave, we would like to present tokens of appreciation and gratitude to each of our presenters. As we begin, may I take the opportunity of requesting the chairperson, Mr. Nanda Kumar, to kindly please present appreciation tokens, mementos to our speakers in the order of their presentation. Let us begin by thanking Mr. Karthik R from MRPL, who made his presentation first. Zordar taaliyan Karthik ji ke liye. बहुत बहुत आभार, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Mr. Sanjay, thank you for joining us in this panel and sharing your thoughts, your perspectives and the research that is going on. From your side, thank you for sharing your perspectives. इनके लिए भी जोरदार तालियां सभी की ओर से. Ladies and gentlemen, an applause for Mr. Sanjay Lakshman. Thank you, Mr. Harpreet Singh, for that presentation that you made. Thank you to each of our presenters for their engaging presentations that they came up with. Thank you, Ms. Yamini Gupta, for your presentation. बहुत बहुत आभार. Once again, जोरदार तालियां हमारे सभी speakers के लिए. And Mr. Shubham Gupta, thank you very much for your presentation and for your thoughts that you just discussed with all of us. A louder applause, ladies and gentlemen. And now I take the opportunity of inviting on stage Advisor Technical, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Mr. Amal Kumar Roy, to please join on stage for presenting a token of appreciation for our chairperson, Mr. Nanda Kumar. Thank you for joining us on stage, Mr. Amal Kumar Roy. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our chairperson as well as Mr. Amal Kumar Roy, who's been here in Hall B conducting the sessions and taking care if everything is taking place on time. And now we have a group picture, an opportunity to have a group picture with all the presenters of this session. Ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap up this insightful discussion on domestic new product innovation, one thing is clear. India's strength lies not just in ideas, but in the courage to turn them into reality. Innovation is no longer a choice, as all of us will agree to it. It is indeed our collective responsibility. With that, we also bring to a close 3 remarkable days of the ETM conference, days which were filled with ideas, days which were filled with collaboration and a lot of inspiration. Thank you to all our distinguished speakers. Thank you to all the delegates who joined us here from different parts of the country, as well as from different parts of the world as well. The organizers who made this event a grand success. Until we meet in the next conference, ladies and gentlemen, let's carry forward the spirit of innovation and excellence. Thank you once again and have safe travels back home. I am Juhi Malhotra saying a warm goodbye to everyone. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, a big thank you to everyone. And with this, please join us for lunch and safe travel back home until we meet in the next conference, whenever that happens. Thank you very much for joining us in from different parts of the country as well as from all over the world. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.